Yo, what's going on, everybody? Brand new Hockey Happy Hour coming at you right now. Got lots to talk about. Free agency starting up. We got a lot to talk about with the Flyers. We got a lot to talk about with the Ducks.
Everybody? Brand new
We got feedback? Heard.
No, first time on the show, apparently.
Oh, heard first time on the show.
Take a week off, and I screw it up already.
It's all right. It's all right. We also got a lot to talk about Flyers, Ducks, free agency, NHL free agency overall. We're talking about Johnny Gaudreau. What's his future looking like? We're also going to talk about a little bit the NHL draft review and kind of some of the results. And we're going to break some of that down. So we're getting ready to do this. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let your friends know. Come on. Time to go talk some hockey.
Let's go!
This ain't the fuck like Austin Stinker, he stinks!
Oh, shit!
It's gone!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2D Radio and powered by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. It's time to throw away your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Matt Tsudi's off this week as he's moving into his new dig, so we all wish you well and a very happy birthday, brother.
My guy, happy birthday.
Absolutely. Continuing the happy hour carousel of revolving hosts, I'm Rob Povia, tagging in with my man, Brian Daly, and joining us at 8:30 is the hockey professor, Brad Ryer. What's up, Dales? What's going on with you today?
Yeah, same shit, different day, Pove. How we feeling?
Good, man. Good. Like I finally got the household under 90 degrees from my AC fiasco, so it's a little cooler today. We had a hot one, but definitely everything's good now. Everything's cool. Ready for a big show tonight, boys and girls. We examine the top storylines for the NHL free agency as the market opens tomorrow, and we'll predict where players will land. We'll also review last week's NHL draft, but first, we want to know, Johnny Gaudreau, will he wind up wearing a Flyers jersey? Agree or disagree? And tonight's poll is brought to you by BetUSA, who is a leading online sports book. With over 25 years in the market, you can bet anywhere in the U.S. and on everything. Use the link in the comments for a 125% sign-up bonus. So, Brian, you came up with this poll question. What's your answer? Do you agree that Johnny Gaudreau will wind up wearing a Flyers jersey, or do you disagree?
I fully 100,000% disagree to this poll. I do not whatsoever at any point in his career believe he winds up in a Flyers jersey. Most of the reason, the Flyers don't have the money. They're in an aggressive retool. I get what they're trying to do, but they are in too deep with the salary cap. They cannot afford this kid. Second reason, there's 3 teams in on Johnny Gaudreau right now that I know of outside of the Flyers. And that's obviously the Flames, Islanders, Devils. 2 of those teams are willing to pay him over $10 million a year. Flames are upping their offer from, I think it was like 8.5 to 9. They're up to 11. I believe the Devils are offering 11 or 11.5 over an 8-year span. Flyers can't afford that.
No, not even close.
At all. Third reason, I don't think he winds up in Philly. Who's he going to play with? Who's he going to play with that's going to have the chemistry that he has with Matthew Tkachuk? This kid's coming off a season where he put up 115 points, 40 goals, 75 assists on the season. He comes here, he does not produce those numbers. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Johnny needs a shooter. Johnny needs a shooter, and the Flyers don't have one.
Yeah, certainly not the talent pool on this. I mean, they're just building it up. Now, he's young enough, 28 years old, that he could be a part in an aggressive retool. And I get the clamoring, and then people see, Oscar Lindblom get waived today, under the idea that he will be bought out of his contract with only a year and $3 million left. The team can acquire $333K more because he's under 26 years old if you buy him out. Applaud to the organization for donating to cancer charities, though. I appreciate that, to try to give good PR despite waiving a guy that's been a sympathetic fan favorite here in Philadelphia. But $100K, come on, you couldn't dip into the purse a little bit more than that. Come on, that doesn't count towards the cap. You can donate a little bit more, but that's what spurned all. I mean, don't get me wrong. The rumor mill has been swarming here in Philadelphia ever since it was known that Gaudreau was going to test the free market, the free agency market waters. But they're not going to have the money for it, nor is this really the player that the Philadelphia Flyers need right now. I don't think so. I mean, yes, he brings a strong offensive presence, a good shot. Those are things that this team could utilize. But the man's 6 foot, 150 pounds. 150 pounds. My left leg is 150 pounds, boys and girls. Come on. I mean, this team needs to get bigger. They need to get stronger. And I don't think, he's strong on the puck, but I don't think Gaudreau's going to help you in those two areas, Brian.
No, you know what? Believe it or not, his size isn't even what worries me, because he's shown that he can play in the let's be honest, the tougher conference. He's got guys like Lucic who have his back, but he had to go up against guys like Zach Cassian for a number of years. He's had to go up against Dustin Byfuglien. He's going up against some rough and tough guys, and his body's been holding up. Sure. But to your point here, he's not the player that this team needs right now. This team needs to develop its young talent. This team needs to focus on that. A couple years ago, we were saying on this show, the Flyers window and their future was looking bright.
Right.
Where's that window gone? Where's that light gone? It's nowhere to be found. Part of me blames Comcast for that. Part of me blames the coaching carousel that we keep having. And a part of me blames the Hextall, Chuck Fletcher, GM, whatever the hell that they're doing. My faith in Fletcher is plummeting. If he brings in this kid to make the move, it's just a move that does not make sense for this team right now.
Right.
This team is still at least 2 to 3 years away.
To bringing in a free agent that you don't really need at a premature time. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's good. Here's my thing with Lindblom. I'm very sympathetic towards, obviously, for those that do know my situation and my history, I lost my mom to cancer. My partner over here, same situation, not to put your business out there, Rob, so
no, please.
Kind of partial. But there's I'm getting to a point here. He's 2 years in remission. Let's not be oversympathetic for this kid, because he was not producing.
Right.
Did he work hard? Yeah, he worked hard on the ice. But he wasn't producing. He's a 10-goal-a-year, maybe caliber player right now at this moment. I think him being bought out of this contract is the best thing that could happen for him. Because he can go somewhere else. He can get a fresh start. And he's not even going to, like, this. He's just stale here. He's a stale player. Could a change up of the lines could be a thing? Yeah. But let's be real here. Like TK stale. He could probably use a change of scenery. Everybody wants to say this move is setting up for Johnny. I don't think that's the case. Because his $3 million loss here is not going to be enough. You still have to cut more.
Yeah. And the idea is that will happen. I mean, I've heard talks that, they're going to shop around Provorov to cut cap. And, he was a bit of a cancer in this locker room last season. Also, certainly the JVR talk always. And to your point, TK, now you can cut down money, but Brian, there's some internal housekeeping that needs to be done first. So you gave up the captain, Claude Giroux, for a rental for Florida, and we'll get to potential his landing spot as we get into NHL free agency later on the show. But you got back Owen Tippett, who is going to be a free agent, a restricted free agent, but a free agent nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Don't you want to kind of, lock that in for, giving up your captain? Morgan Frost. That's a guy that can shoot the puck and is, of that Gaudreau, stature, not certainly the talent level. Yeah. But certainly the stature, right? You got to ink him. I mean, it won't cost a lot of money, but you still need to do it. Zach McEwen, who's been a great energy guy for this team, a fighter, a guy that can bruise in the corners and bring an offensive presence down there on the fourth line. He too is a restricted free agent. Now, luckily, their unrestricted free agents are guys that are, as good as gone, maybe minus Nate Thompson. But I think part of this rebuild, you got to shed age and get younger. So maybe they don't even go towards him. But all you really have is Martin Jones, who shouldn't, maybe ideally I thought would be as good as gone. But, you do have Felix Sandstrom that could back up Hart. But now, there's also with Fedotov in Russia being detained for being a draft dodger and his status being up in the air in terms of coming in the States to honor his entry-level contract with the Flyers, that leaves him a little thin in goaltender. So I don't know where they'll stand on that. But these are all guys. Kevin Connaughton, too. He's another unrestricted free agent. Those are guys that, you don't really need to expend a lot of money nor even lock up and move on from. But there's still some internal housekeeping. And you got to, shed, they were, at 176,000 away from the cap. You know what I mean? Yeah, you need money to sign some of these guys.
Right. And there's not much. Like they were lucky enough to tender some qualifying offers to guys like Zach McEwen and some of the other guys, Hodgson.
Right.
Like a few guys got the qualifying offers, but Johnny's contract is not going to be anything that is even remotely feasible for the Flyers right now.
Absolutely. Let me get to some of the.
Yeah, I was going to real quick. Jake's comment earlier was asking what his contract's going to look like. Minimum 7 years. And I was talking to Dylan earlier. Flames upped their offer to $11 million a year. I think the Devils are offering like 11.5 a year over 7 years for Johnny. Islanders I think are like in that 9 range. It's not good. You're not getting it for cheap. You can move Lindblom. You can move possibly Provy. You can move JVR. Actually, I think if you move those three, that's going to do it. But nobody wants JVR. Nobody's going to want his contract before the trade deadline. You're going to get a team like Arizona, maybe Anaheim, maybe Detroit, maybe Ottawa, depending on where some of these teams are. They're not going to take on JVR's contract until the trade deadline.
You'd have to do what the Ottawa Senators did with Matt Murray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Ducks are willing to take on contracts like that, but they're not going to do it until the trade deadline. So JVR being bought out is obviously not going to happen now. JVR being traded before the trade deadline is we've said this for probably about 2 years now on this show. And for those who are just joining us, hit that like. Hit that subscribe wherever you're watching. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Can't catch us live. I saw somebody drop a comment, said he's finally getting to see us live. We're everywhere you can get your podcasts. So let's go. Hit them likes, hit them subscribe. So let's go. Let's keep this growing. But it's tough to move a guy like JVR with the contract he has and the lack of production. I heard a report earlier saying that the Flyers are now turning down trade offers for JVR because teams want too much and are asking for too much for JVR's contract. Yeah. Because they don't want it.
Right.
They don't want that contract right now.
Right.
And I don't blame them.
Can't say
I don't blame them.
Absolutely.
Nice, Kevin Becker. I agree. A2D is much better than WIP. We actually give you real shit.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Let me give a shout out to all these first commenters here tonight. Joining us live here on the Hockey Happy Hour and sponsored by Gleason's Bar. It's located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, Pennsylvania. If you use the promo code A2D, where we use that for all of our sponsors, A2D, real easy to remember, you get 10% off your order when you dine in or you take out or even order online. And you could do so at Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com.
Yep. Yeah, Benny. What's up, dude? I feel like I haven't talked to you in weeks. Hope everything's going good, brother. Arizona could be another one. But Arizona's apparently and Anaheim are in on taking up one other contract that could rule him out for JVR, and that's Milan Lucic. He's apparently on the trade block.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways this thing could go, and a lot of ways is starting to block the Flyers from having any kind of realistic chance of getting Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah, me personally, I think he stays with Calgary. I mean, he's got to test the free agent markers to get the best contract possible, and it even drives up, as you were indicating before, what you and Dylan were saying. So I think they're building something real nice there. I think this is just part of the business of professional sports. People get tickled pink because they hear a name. They want to have Johnny Hockey in Philadelphia. Well, it ain't happening.
And it's not to be unrealistic or try and be a Debbie Downer, but it's a fact that the Flyers are in no position to get him right now. I get that he's a hometown kid. Guess what? The Flyers just traded for a hometown kid, and everybody flips shit for it. But then again, a lot of this fan base does nothing but like to want to bitch. You bitched at round one when they took Carter Gauthier, which I think is a phenomenal pick for them at 5. We needed a right-handed defenseman. Okay, they went out and traded for a right-handed defenseman. Oh, they should have gotten Tony DeAngelo. He's got a checkered past. Yeah? Let's not worry about what he did in the past. If you want to worry about what he did with the past, look at what he did in Carolina. He was one of the top defenders in the league last year and one of the best locker room guys in the league last year. Those guys did not want him to go.
Yeah, he turned. I mean, he learned. Everybody makes mistakes in this life. Nobody's perfect, and he even self-admitted himself that there's a lot of things he'd like to correct in his previous actions, and you see a sense of maturity there. It's not surprising to me that his teammates didn't want to see him go.
Yeah, and everybody wants to bring back that situation in the locker room with the Rangers. Newsflash: don't believe everything you hear. Alexander Georgiev started that fight, and he threw the first punch.
It takes 2 to DeAngelo. Did you see what I did there? You see what I did there?
And that's the thing. Like, everybody wants to read this, that, and the other on Twitter. How much of the stuff that you're actually reading on Twitter from some of these guys are legit facts? Right. Nobody knew. Listen, I know a guy who trains with Johnny. I know a guy who trains with Tony. I used to work with him at Pure Hockey. I know what happened with Tony. I know what happened with Tony. That situation, did he probably pick the wrong time to talk to Georgiev about that goal in overtime? Probably. But Tony DeAngelo did not start a fight between him and Alexander Georgiev. Now, what happened in the OHL is inexcusable. And that's him being a child.
Mikey, you watch your mouth when you talk about Flyers fans, Mikey.
Mikey, yes. Mikey, Blinky, I love you, buddy. Stick around. I want your opinion on something that I've been hearing, and it involves Evgeni Malkin and Sidney Crosby. So please tell me what I'm hearing is true, because this could be phenomenal for the NHL.
Yeah, true.
What up, Troy? What up, Swoopy? What's up, Ev? I mean, like, there's just, this is why I love doing what we do. This is why I love doing what we do. This is like a therapy session for everybody. This is what we do here at HUD. We're here to talk it out. We're a family. This is therapy for everybody.
It's like the airing of grievances at Festivus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. But, jumping back to the Flyers here, like, it's this is a team that's in a situation that you're moving you're moving the old nucleus out now. You're moving out that old core. You just traded the main part. You gotta find out what you have. I understand that's kind of what they did last year. You saw some really good stuff from some of the young guys. I thought Zamula played really well when he was up here. I thought Natard was great up here. He deserves a shot at a roster spot. Cam York obviously deserves a shot at a roster spot. You got young guys that are here that are almost ready to come up. Tyson Forster, get his ass on the training camp roster. See what you got. If you find yourself in a position where you're battling for a wild card spot, I'm all for this team going to spend a little bit to go get somebody. Right now, no, I'm not about it. I love Johnny. Johnny's a great player. I get he's a hometown kid. Guess what? You just brought one back in Tony D'Angelo. You're not getting Johnny. Johnny's going to want too much. I think. All right, so let me pose this question to you guys out there. Realistically, Johnny's playing for a playoff team right now. He already went through the rebuild with them. Realistically, do you think that the Flyers, or not the Flyers, do you really think that Johnny's going to want to sit through another rebuild or aggressive retool?
Right.
Or do you think he'd rather go back to Calgary and play for a playoff team? Or go to the Devils, who are a little bit closer to being a playoff team than the Flyers, and open up a brand new window for another opportunity to win a cup? Plus, him, Jack Hughes, and Dawson Mercer on a line would be absolutely fucking fantastic.
No one.
Yes, it would.
When you're talking about the Devils,
It would be absolutely fantastic. That'd be one of the filthiest lines in hockey.
Yeah, it would. It would be pretty filthy.
It would do things to me. It's the thought of it's kind of arousing. And I'm not even a Devils fan.
Gotcha, Brian. But let's get back to that comment with Johnny, because he asked a really good question, that if the Flyers don't go for Johnny Gaudreau, what do they do this offseason? Or we need, what do the Flyers do? We need some changes in this roster. Brian already told you the changes come from within. We started to see it at the tail end there, and there was some good level of hockey play. You continue that. You bring these boys up. Let them make mistakes at the NHL level. Let them play together. Let them build that chemistry. That's what we've saw with successful teams in the past here, not only in Philadelphia, but in most organizations. So, I mean, can you bring in some character guys like a Tony D'Angelo? Oh, well, geez, maybe that's not a great example. But I mean, you already brought one in with Cam Atkinson that could help, that that you could build with, and you'll have Sean Couturier hopefully back and healthy as almost like a new addition, because he was out for so long last season. There's a lot of talent within that just needs to be developed, and I think they could develop together at Wells Fargo.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Robbie, there's young free agents out there that the Flyers can go after that are very affordable guys.
Yeah,
you can go out, like, there's a lot of names that were dropped that were not qualified, that were not receiving qualifying offers. You have Dylan Strome from Chicago, Dominic Kubliak from Chicago. Ducks just dropped a bunch of guys. Sam Steele, who's a very strong third-line center, although the Flyers don't really need a center. But there are some really good young guys out there that need a change of scenery. Guys that are still floating between that 24 and 26. There's a few gems out there that the Flyers could go after that are relatively cheap. I don't see them signing a guy like Dylan Strome for more than maybe $3 million a year over a 2-year span. I don't see them signing a guy like Sam Steele for anything more than maybe $2 million a year. Kane, TDA, and Torton, St. Locker. Oh God.
Yeah, because Vander Kane's out there. Yeah, oh my goodness.
Oi! I've heard rumblings of him to Anaheim. It's
Right.
scary. No, but for real though, like there's plenty of like backups here that you can go after that's available tomorrow. I don't see Johnny. I don't see it. I feel like this is an every offseason thing. We're bringing Johnny home. We're bringing Johnny home. No, I don't see it. There could be a sleeper team, one of the other, I don't want to say bottom tier teams because they're not really bottom tier, but some of the other rebuilders that may be a little bit closer could possibly kind of pop up and spring up and try and snag Johnny. But to me, it's a 2-team race. It's Calgary, it's the Devils.
Mm-hmm. Well,
We just got breaking news. Dylan is saying that Johnny's officially not coming back to Calgary.
oh.
Dylan, what you got for us, bro? All right, while we wait for Dylan, Frank Cervelli. That's a guy to trust. Frank Cervelli is one of the best ones. But jumping back to like, there's a ton of options here for the Flyers to go after as far as their free agency. They got cash to spend. They just don't have enough for Johnny. But there's plenty of other options out there for them that they can fill into these roles and say that are still in that 24 to 26 age range. That's not too young, but not too old. And that could turn into something really good for this team.
Well, let me ask you this, Brian. Where do you think he does land here? Does he go to the Devils or to a dark horse team? I guess now that Calgary's ruled out.
I believe in my heart of hearts it's going to be the Devils. He's going to come somewhat closer to home, but I think he winds up in New Jersey. I think he winds up with the Devils. I do think that there's a larger window there. There's a brighter future there right now, and it's a fairly good chance for him to win a cup on a very young and up and coming team and be on a line with somebody who's going to be able to play at his level with Jack and possibly Dawson Mercer.
Yeah, and Dylan is right. Looking at Frank Cervelli's tweets, I mean, he already tweeted earlier saying that they offered him $10 million for 8 years. It's not about the money. It was an emotional conversation, but they rolled out the red carpet and he told him he's not returning to Calgary. Bradley, what's going on, man?
Hey, sorry about that. We had a little issue at work. One of our guys ended up going to the hospital. Had a little problem breathing. Asthma.
He's
That's not good.
Yeah, well, he's like 58, so he's kind of old, so that's a problem.
Air quality was poor today too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm older than him, but I don't have asthma, so thank God. So we had to chip in and handle the slack, but it's all good. I'm sorry I'm a little late, but better late than never.
Oh, hey, you know what makes up for it, Brad? The Zeppelin T-shirt totally makes up for it.
You like this shirt? Yeah, I didn't want to wear a Ranger shirt because I didn't think I deserved to because I was late. So I was punishing myself.
Well, jumping in, Brad. Let me ask you, what's your opinion? What's your opinion to the poll? Will Johnny Gaudreau wind up wearing a Flyers jersey?
Here's the problem. I do think he wants to come here. But you guys are $119,000 under the cap right now. How in the world are you guys going to get $10 million available?
Right.
Where's that going to come from? But you have to remember one thing, and I mean, we know. I don't know if the fans know this, but the fact is, in the summer you are allowed to be 20% over the cap. So that is a major factor. So if the Flyers can somehow, if Johnny wants $10 million, okay, and the Flyers can, what's the cap now? 81 million?
79, I thought. Is it 81?
It went up. I think it's up to either 81 or 82.
All right, let's say it's 81 million. What's 20% of 80 of 81 million? 10%, I guess, is 8 million.
Yeah.
So 16 million. They can be $16 million over the cap in the summertime. Okay, but come before the season, they're going to have to get down to the cap. And
82.5.
Okay, it's 82.5. Okay,
And they have $3,451,000 space, with the Oscar Lindblom news.
Okay, so they need to be they're going to be okay. So if they're $3.5 million, they're going to have to find $7 million. So that means if they signed him for 10, okay, then they're going to have to find $7 million to get rid of. Now, they can sign him and they can leave the roster alone and wait till towards the beginning of preseason, and wait to see if teams want to deal with them. I think here's what I think. If I'm the Flyers, this is what I would do. Okay, the Chicago Blackhawks right now are obviously having a complete sell-off. Okay, so you give a second-round pick with JVR. You attach a second-round pick with JVR, and you see if the Blackhawks will take them. Because the Blackhawks are going to trade Kane. Okay, and from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like my Rangers are going to get him. Now, that we'll save that for a little later. The Flyers are going to have to do their best Tampa Bay Lightning impression of cheating the cap, which, if they follow the Tampa Bay map, okay. And I just saw somebody just posted something about they're going to put Ellis on long-term injured reserve. So I don't know how much money that's going to save them. But
6.5.
Yeah,
6.5 mil.
Mm-hmm. For however long he's on there, it's like 6.5 mil a year, I believe. I think that's his contract.
Okay, so if they leave him on long-term injured reserve, they'd be saving. The only problem is he can't play until the playoffs. Not that that's a problem. I mean, if you make the playoffs, then you'll have Ryan Ellis to play.
Not happening. Hey, maybe they could go the Bobby Bonilla route and pay him years later.
Pay him till he's 75 years old. He retires at 34.
I'm just
then you could get
surprised
Gaudreau that way.
If they bought out Van Riemsdyk, wouldn't that be able to do that?
It'd make it easier. I don't still think it would put them in a feasible position. I still think I was saying earlier, like I understand the Lindblom move to an extent. He's been kind of stale. Well, if you had bought out JVR instead of Lindblom and still wanted to move Lindblom, I think it'd be easier to trade Lindblom than it would be to trade JVR.
Yeah, I
kind
agree.
of flip the situation.
If you traded JVR though, let's say you traded him to the Blackhawks, because the Blackhawks are tanking. They want to be all in on Bedard. Okay, fine. Can you give them a second and a third to take Van Riemsdyk? What's Van Riemsdyk making? $7 million?
7.5.
Okay, so if you could sum it, you don't think there's any way they do that, huh?
No, I'm just Dylan just nailed the conversation here with the comment here. Flyers have to beat the Devils to him, and for the 1000th time, the Flyers do not need Gaudreau. He's absolutely right. What do they need a small forward for? They need to get bigger and stronger, and they need to rebuild, not retool. I mean, I think they have a little more talent than a full rebuild, but I like the notion there. But once again, Comcast knows that won't sell tickets.
So this is actually interesting. Johnny just sent me this tweet from Sam Carchidi at Broad Street Bullies. He's not with the Inquirer anymore. We had actually Sam on during our little quarantine. That was a fun conversation with Sam. Sam, that is actually a family friend.
Cool.
Sure.
He tweets out this season #Flyers would have gained 2.7 in the cap space if they bought out 33-year-old JVR. They gain 3.3 million with almost 26-year-old Oscar Lindblom buyout.
They would only get 2.7 million off
if they bought out JVR. So that makes a little more sense why they picked Lindblom over JVR. You're getting a little bit more back. It's only like what, 6 mil, or 0.6 it's still more.
Yeah,
I actually did not know that.
No.
Thanks, Johnny.
That's where they have to go. I mean, what other guys could Kevin Hayes? They could probably trade Kevin Hayes. I mean, he's a tradable asset. But you don't want to trade him. What's the point in getting Johnny Gaudreau if you have to trade Kevin Hayes, though?
Right.
Well, the other thing is, too, you brought in, Kevin Hayes just defended the Tony DeAngelo move and was saying how much he loved it. You trade Kevin Hayes now, that's a slap in the face to Tony.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lot to be able to, to bring what's the old saying? You want to bring the mountain to Muhammad. You want Muhammad to bring the mountain to come to the mountain. Yeah. You guys are going to have to bring the mountain to Muhammad. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to find a way. I mean, you could sign him, okay, but then you're going to have to, by the beginning of training camp, you're going to have to find some takers for some other guys. I mean, I know the Rangers, when they were looking for cap space a couple of years ago, they traded Mark Stahl and a second-round pick to the Red Wings for nothing.
Yeah.
For the Red Wings to take the entire $4.5 million, and they took the $4.5 million and were able to re-sign Ryan Strome. So, maybe if they follow some kind of a deal like that, maybe they could find a way to do something along those lines.
I think the only way they're seeing Johnny Gaudreau is on opening night, October 13th, when they face off against the Devils.
Well, I'm kind of hoping the Devils don't get him, but
in case you missed it too, Philadelphia Flyers put out their 2022-23 regular season schedule. They face off against the Devils opening night. Play Vancouver, Tampa Bay, Florida, Nashville, San Jose, Florida, and Carolina in that opening month. I strolled through it or whatever. It's going to be a tough season for a retooling or rebuilding team.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us here, down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see our poll question. Johnny Gaudreau will wind up wearing a Flyers jersey. Hashtag it, agree, disagree. Get in this conversation. Like you guys said earlier, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're a first-time listener, definitely smash those buttons. Here, you know what? I'll give you a reminder. Hit that damn like and subscribe. Let's go.
Hey, guys, this is a great show. So, you guys, if you guys are hockey fans, you definitely need to listen to this show. It's terrific.
We do our best, unless I'm drinking. Sometimes it gets a little sloppy. I haven't drank on the show in a while, but you know what? This team's going to drive me there.
I keep it the hot cocoa, bro. Also go to Philly Drinkers, man. You can get your HED mugs. Check that out.
Yeah, buddy.
Good quality shit.
Buddy.
Oh,
one thing I was covering, Brad, before you jumped on was, the Flyers have some free agents to take care of themselves. I mean, Owen Tippett, who they got in the Drew deal, he's a restricted free agent. You know what I mean? And they have that leg up, but he still needs to income.
What do you have to pay him? Like $2.5 million?
Yeah, but some of these little moves maybe frees up that money to do that. Guys like Morgan Frost as well, and Zach McEwen.
Who else do they have to take care of?
Pretty much just Tippett, Frost, McEwen. I mean, the unrestricted free agents, Martin Jones, I don't see him re-signing back. Keith Yandel, no.
You mean future Ranger backup goalie Martin Jones? Is that
agreed. They'll be there. They are in the market with Georgiev going to Colorado now, right?
Yeah. Now, do you believe the how much they got for him?
Yeah, that was a haul.
That was a heck of a haul.
Yeah,
2/3 and a fifth for a backup goalie.
Yeah,
can't blame them for doing that.
Well, they had a strong need. They were moving on from Darcy Kuemper, so they had to find an answer. And Georgiev, I mean, before Igor's sort of rise to superstardom, was a solid goaltender in a starting role for you guys.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
He is a solid goalie. I wouldn't call him. I don't think he's better than Kuemper, but But then again, right. When he plays regularly, he seems to play better. So let's see what happens with him when he plays on a team that A, isn't going to give up as many shots as the Rangers did, and B, is also going to score a ton of goals, so he can relax when he gives one up. He can know that they're going to probably score 2 or 3 by the next time they get one past me. So,
right,
that could be something too.
Well, to round out this segment, boys, I mean, certainly if you have more on Gaudreau before we move on, definitely feel free to jump in. But I wanted to get your guys' predictions on where Johnny will sign or where he will go at this point, being that he said that he won't be returning to Calgary.
Yeah, I'm trying to, instead of saying the Devils, because they're obviously the morning line favorites right now.
Right.
I just don't see the Flyers being able to do it. I see Ted is asking, where do we think Kane and Tays wind up? I think Kane's going to end up in New York.
I say Colorado.
Rangers have more young players to give up.
They just certainly do, and they have a strong need for center ice right now because
they need a second center. Okay,
right.
unless they're gonna use Hedl as a second center, which would be silly. You don't want to put all that pressure on him.
Well, Tays, from what I understand, isn't going anywhere yet. I know Kane officially put his trade request in today.
Yeah, Kane already said I heard that they were talking about trading and Kane thought about it and then came in this morning and officially said go ahead. But I think he wants to play with Panarin again. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I
remember when they were in Chicago together, they played together and they were both real successful. And I just think if you put Kane on the Rangers, that would be the equivalent of when they got Messier back in 1992.
For sure.
Same kind of it would have the same kind of impact.
I think Kane is the ceiling free agent, right? Who I realistically think you guys might land is Kadri.
Kane is not a free agent though.
Well, it would have to be via trade. Okay, I got you. But yeah. I mean, in this free agent market during this time period, if they don't trade for Kane, I could see them signing a Kadri and fill that second line center role.
I mean, Kadri wouldn't be a bad selection, But what is Kadri going to cost?
I'll probably market him in the area of he's probably going to land a $5.5 to $6.5, possibly $7 million contract.
Yeah, the Rangers can't pay $7 million. I know. What's his name? Kopp wanted 6.5 and 5 years.
He's gone.
And the Rangers said no, they can't. I mean, they can't do that. They can't do that either. The reason it could work with Kane is a $10 million contract for this year. But if Chicago withheld $5 million, if they retained the $5 million, the Rangers can go up to about $5.5 million in the free agent market on the cap. So I don't know how they're gonna get Kadri. I don't see how that's gonna happen, to be honest with you. That it doesn't make sense. I mean, they're gonna have to trade a major piece if they do that.
I think they could ink him for less, but I mean, I just thought that would be a good fit for the role. Hearing that Kopp might sign with Nashville.
I mean, look, I like Kopp. I think he's a really good player, but I think he's making a mistake. I think he doesn't realize, and the same applies to Strome. Those guys were good because they had Panarin setting them up all the time, and
I want to throw this your way, Brad, because I heard another option because I know you said the Rangers are looking for a veteran center. Another name I've heard linked to the Rangers is Adam Henrique.
I haven't heard him at all. I don't want him. He's not good. He's not good enough anymore. I mean, I've heard Dylan Strome's name mentioned, and I don't see how he's is he that much better than his brother? I don't think so. I think his brother's probably better than him.
Dylan's still only 25 years old. So he's just coming into his prime. I think in the right system.
I mean, maybe if you put him with Panarin, he'll get the same result out of him as his brother. I mean, maybe that's the case. I've also heard Sean Monahan, and I don't want him either. I mean, he seems to be way past his prime at this point.
Now, there's another Calgary Flame that's a free agent too, and that's Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, maybe he's a lock to be.
I thought he was an RFA.
He is.
He is, but still needs to be signed though.
Right.
By the Flames. So probably that's where their focus is going to be now at this point with Gaudreau piecing off. Peace off. And speaking of piecing off, later, Mikey, we're going to piece off into the second period since we're already kind of getting into it in terms of NHL free agency. But that good old first period was brought to you by eXp Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home or looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foye at eXp Realty LLC 302-682-8820, or you can visit them at alan.foye at exprealty.com. Just trying to slow that down for you, Brian.
You're good, dude. I had it up quicker than the last time I produced.
I had the read page up, so I didn't say
It's fine. It's all good. I had it up relatively quickly. It wasn't like a couple weeks ago when I had to do it, and you were through the read by the time I found it, and I just screw it. Not that I wouldn't but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
For sure. But definitely continue the free agent talk, boys.
Well, this is a fun question here. I want to address real quick from Kevin. He wants to know why the Flyers are the worst shootout team in NHL history. I'll tell you real quick. It's not very hard. The Flyers have no snipers. They're all passers. They're all playmakers. Not that
Giroux was pretty good on the shootout, as I recall.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got that shooting ability. But like, Couturier's got some shooting ability. But if we're talking like legit goal scorers, they haven't really had one in a while.
Hayes is a goal scorer. Hayes can score.
Get you like 20, 25, but I'm talking like 30, 35, 40, like a legit scoring threat.
Oh, okay.
Like a legit scoring, like Patrick Laine when he first came into the league, and could probably still be with the right team. Johnny is. I don't think Johnny's a goal scorer. He's just coming off a year of 40, but that was the first time he's hit 40 in his career, and the first time he's broke 30 in I think 4 or 5 years. So like, all these guys have scoring ability, but to be able to sit there and say that they got that finesse, they got that, like, if they want to just snipe the puck, the Flyers don't have anybody that have that sniping ability.
Yeah, but there's another side of it too. Having a quality goaltender that can stop the other team shootout. I mean, I think that's been more of the problem.
That makes a huge difference. I mean, if you remember when the Rangers used to have Lundqvist, you wanted them to survive the 3-on-3 just to get to the shootout because you knew there was no way in God's green earth he would lose a shootout.
And there's really good goaltenders in this league that aren't really good at the shootout and stopping breakaways or whatever. Yes. And also vice versa. I've seen teams switch their goaltender to have a guy that's better against the shootouts. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I mean, it's that is the case. But I mean, you can't really depend on that too much because how many times are you going to have to shoot out in a season? Maybe 5 or 6 times at the most.
Right.
Because most of the games are decided in overtime. Believe it or not, in the 3-on-3.
Nice.
It seems like we have about 10 or 12 a year, but I get your point.
Don't worry, Ant. That ain't happening, bro. So you can take that off the table. Arizona is where player contracts go to retire.
Well, apparently, I mean, Malkin is testing the free agency market. The Penguins, they put their money in the Kris Letang and said that, we're not meeting his terms. He's going to have to sign to our terms. And so he's out there. I mean, I for the Flyers, I don't think that move makes sense other than, just having a guy that could add to your veteran leadership as you rebuild and basically piss off the Pittsburgh Penguins organization there. That's about it, but it's not the quality guy. Like, he's well past his prime is my point.
Well, Malkin?
Yeah.
Well, he did score 42 points in 41 games.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I think the Raquel contract when he resigned last night was really the nail in the coffin for Malkin.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be the same team without Malkin, though.
No, because he does bring a physical edge, and I do think he does a cheap shot, but he's
still a legit scorer, though.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely, you're right.
I
don't need to speak so harshly. There's some hatred there on my behalf. A little homerism.
I can't stand him. I think he's a filthy son of a gun. But
right.
he's a real good player.
Yeah.
I mean, he was carrying his stick like an axe in that Ranger Penguin series, but he can still put the puck in the net. That's for sure, and he's a good playmaker.
Well, I mean, the skills have depreciated is my point, and I think
Oh,
also
he needs
too,
slow.
you can be a byproduct of who's playing around you too. You know what I mean? And if you're going to a lesser team, maybe you might not have as success. But you're right. I mean, the hockey knowledge, the hockey IQ, and the nose for the net that doesn't have an age. That doesn't have an expiration date.
That's true, and he could be a good leader for a young team.
Right.
Are you getting my drift? What when I say a young team like the Devils?
yeah. That's
23 million guys. It's scary. They're 23 million under the cap.
Yeah.
That's
23?
23 million under the cap right now.
Wow. So they could get both if they wanted to.
If they wanted to, yeah.
Wow. Fuck.
But somebody still has to play goal. And somebody still has to play defense.
Right. Truth.
So they could have they could try to be Edmonton, but that doesn't work. Or they could try to be the Islanders 3 years ago or 4 years ago when they led the league in goal scoring and didn't make the playoffs. I don't know if you remember that particular era in time, but I think they scored the most goals in the league and did not make the playoffs. I'll tell you, they were a fun team to bet the over.
Real quick, since we're talking about goaltending, real quick, is it just me or are goaltenders just the hot button right now? Like everybody's trading goalies. Vanacek got traded. Cam Talbot just got traded this afternoon, going from Minnesota to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Matt Murray got traded to Toronto last night. What's up with these goalies?
Well, there's just a lot of teams that need a number one goaltender.
Well,
Maple Leafs, Oilers, Capitals, Sabres. List goes on and on.
It started with Campbell, okay,
right,
and
right.
He's going to end up in Edmonton, and that's going to be a big problem for everybody in the West. I think he's definitely going to end up in Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton's pushing for him. I see Darcy Kuemper being an option too.
I have no idea why they got him because he stinks. He's not good anymore. I mean, he hasn't been good in a long time. It's been 5 years since he's actually been good. So I don't know about Matt Murray. And I think Vanacek is it Vanacek? No, not Vanacek. The other one, Samsonov.
They did. He's a UFA right now. He's on a UFA now too. So Washington doesn't have a goaltender.
I've heard he's gonna end up signing as a free agent with the Leafs. He's gonna be the number one, and Murray's gonna be the backup.
I figured Murray was gonna be the backup. I didn't see him being a starter.
Campbell is gonna go to Edmonton.
Swoopy,
and Washington just signed Kuemper to like what 5 years, $30 million or something like that.
I mean, if they did, nothing should be official yet. I mean, that's probably the offer they're gonna give them tomorrow.
Yeah, those were all the rumors that I saw.
Yeah.
That's what they're all looking at.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they went and went after a guy like Kuemper. I know Kuemper was being eyed up by a few teams. But like seeing some of these teams, it's like Toronto essentially just gave away all their goaltending. Washington gave away all their goaltending. Edmonton had no goaltending to give up.
Yeah, Kuemper is not good. That's the whole thing.
I mean, he's fine if he's got a defense in front, and we saw that with Colorado this year.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's goaltend. That's my whole thing.
Washington also was probably the slowest team in the league,
and they're not going to be much faster this year.
No.
Real quick, speaking of Washington. Swoopy, I'm not sure what is up with Backstrom. As far as I know, he's fine. I haven't heard anything about Backstrom having any injuries, considering retirement. I haven't heard any rumors surrounding Nicholas Backstrom. Unless you're talking about somebody else.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about him.
Yeah, unless he's talking about somebody else.
I mean, Bergeron fits that mold where if the Bruins don't re-sign him, he's considering retiring. We saw Duncan Keith call it a career today. Or actually, was that last night? That might have been last night, but
close enough.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
within the last-
absolutely.
It's within the last 24 hours, so it's
Right.
You're good.
Get this, boys. Looking at his career, right? We all know about the 3 cups, the 2 Norris Trophy winners. But did you know he's a lifetime plus 159? 159.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
A guy that was a small defenseman that thought couldn't make it in the league. Huh?
Nicky, you
Yeah,
could have
well,
made that catch.
Somebody was wrong.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk's going to get paid. And he's going to get paid. He's probably going to be floating around that 9.5, 10 mark.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid.
And I heard you boys talking about Matt Murray when I stepped away or what have you. I mean, in case of those tuning in aren't privy to that deal, right? So he goes to the Maple Leafs along with a 2023 third-round pick and a 2024 seventh-round pick just for future considerations. And the Senators are only on the hook for 25% of his salary. That's the big, to do. So easily that spells backup goaltender. To your point, I think you were saying, Brad.
He's got to be a backup. I've heard rumors that Toronto was going to be all over Samsonov. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Correct. I think so.
Samsonov, but yeah, I always say Samsonov.
Yeah, the Russian guy it looks like it says Samsonov on it. He's gonna. I've heard very strong rumors that he's gonna start for Toronto, and Murray is gonna be the backup. Campbell's gonna end up in Edmonton, and Edmonton is like getting a gift without even having to do anything because he's just gonna pull it into their hands.
Yeah. Randall wants to know what the Flames are going to do now, since we're talking NHL. What are they going to do now that Johnny's tested free agency? Who are they going to go after?
There's a lot of top names out there. This is a good year for free agency. If you're looking for to make a splash. I mean, the Flames. The problem with the Flames is not everybody wants to play there. It's like not a destination that everybody really wants to play in. I mean, it's not as bad as Winnipeg. Nobody wants to play in Winnipeg. That's been that's been like an ancient burial ground for as long as they've been in the league. But I don't know how many teams want to play in Calgary, but how many stars want to play in Calgary?
Well, that's always a question. That is always a question. But the answer in terms of the commenter's question here, I'll throw a name out, boys. Andre Palat could be one of the steals in this free agent class if the Lightning can't, sign the forward before, the market's open.
Probably would be, but I mean, he's not going to replace Gaudreau. If I don't know if that's the kind of guy that the Flames are going to need another center. Yeah, I mean, do they try to like pick up Ryan Strome? Or Kopp? What Strome or Kopp? I mean, those guys could go and play out there. They'd probably be a pretty good fit. I mean, they're not superstars, but they're pretty good, solid centers. Kopp is a better face-off guy. Strome is probably a little bit better as far as assisting. He's a playmaker. Kopp is more of the goal scorer. But there's guys like that out there for the Flames. I mean, I think that's where they're going to end up going.
I mean, what about Nazem Kadri? He's always an option. I think he's one of the top 5 free agents out there.
I don't think he would go to Calgary though.
I mean, now that Johnny's not there,
yeah, I don't think he'd want to go to Calgary. I think Nazem is a big personality. I think he wants to go to a popular team. You know what I mean? Like if the Rangers could figure out a way to get him, that would be fantastic. I just don't know how that's possible. It's like Gaudreau signing with the Flyers. How is this going to? Are you going to trade Jacob Trouba? Do you think Brandon Schneider is ready to move up to a top 4 role and put him with Miller? Because if you do that, then you can get anybody basically you want. If you trade Trouba's cap space is $8 million a year.
1,000% agree with Dylan here. Detroit getting Ville Husso is an underrated move.
in my NHL be a pro or be a GM, I actually claimed him off of waivers.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about him, but he is okay.
I think he could be a star in this league.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
anybody really wants to play in Seattle right now. That's a stinky team right now. That is a stinky team that doesn't really have all that much to go with. You know, who do they have that they couldn't score last year, and you knew they weren't going to be able to score when they put that team together, because all they were doing was drafting young defensemen, and it seemed like all the other guys were kind of just old and not all that good.
Oh, I forgot about that, Dylan. You're right. Kadri rejected a trade to Calgary out of Toronto and then went to Colorado. I forgot about that. You're right, Dylan.
That's right. I forgot about that too.
Well, there goes that idea.
Yeah, cross him off that list.
Yep.
Yeah, so I could see Kadri if he went to the Rangers. The one thing he could get that he may not get in another city is he could get he could get some nice advertising money off the on the business end off the ice, because he does have a big personality.
Right.
That's one thing that is available to him in New York, is that he has the ability to make money off the ice. But how much money can he make off the ice to make up for how much the Rangers could give him? Because I don't think the Rangers could go more than $6 million a year, and they can't go 5 years with them. So they just have too much money invested in they've got younger guys that they're going to have to re-sign Andre Miller next year. And they're going to have to re-sign Lafreniere. So where's that money coming from? Just wondering,
Makes me curious about Kadri and where he's going to go. I heard both New York teams were interested in him.
I think the Islanders might have a better shot. I think the Islanders may have more money to spend. But the Devils are the team that has the money to do whatever the heck they want. The problem with the Devils is that they're there's the salary cap, and then there's the Devils cap. Like if the salary cap is $81 million, okay, the Devils cap is most likely around 70, because they're always historically around 10 million under the cap, because they don't draw enough to be able to afford to do those kind of deals and be at the cap. They don't make enough money to do that. Yeah, which is one of the reasons Lamoriello left to go to Toronto. So I don't know where I don't know where the money's coming from. That's the problem.
Is always the issue. Now, is the cap set to bump up again? Next
year's gonna. They had record residuals this year.
Right.
They did great, but they
coming out of the pandemic, exactly. Yeah.
They made record profit this year, but they only kicked the cap up $1 million this year. But you get the feeling if they have the same kind of situation next year, which I'm sure they will, then most likely the cap will go up a little bit more next year. It's not going to be a flat cap next year. I can tell you that right now. You're probably going to get $2 to $3 million more next year.
Dylan, I told you earlier. No. No.
Duck's going to take Lucic from the Flames?
No.
I guess, no. Dylan, I guess I'm wondering
they got to get to the cap floor.
Why are you so worried about Lucic? Is he that important to your team?
Lucic will get us actually up to the cap floor, because we're kind of under it right now. So his $5 million will take us right up there.
Why not get
pretty player for the playoffs too? If should make it. He's a good quality guy to have.
We'll see. Regard. We'll see what we do tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of activity, a lot of things that could go down. I mean, speaking of like Lucic, I think of his Bruin days or whatever. I mentioned before that Patrice Bergeron, is up in the air whether they're going to re-sign him. They also could be returning an old face. I've heard the rumor mill that David Krejci is contemplating a return to the Bruins.
I heard that too.
He's been playing in the Czech leagues.
Here's the problem with Krejci. Okay, his last year in the league, he only scored 5 goals.
Right.
So, is that a big deal? What's he going to
You're
do?
not always bringing guys in for goal scoring. You bring in Krejci for leadership because they're missing something in the locker room now.
Right.
That's the reason why you bring him back.
To answer your question, Brad, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's just a storyline that a guy coming back to the NHL.
I mean, he's going to be on the fourth line. If he has to play anywhere other than the fourth line, the Bruins are going to be having a very bad season. I'm just being honest. He's not really. He's way past his prime. Bergeron is another story, and he's the best face-off guy in the league.
Right.
So
they play well together in a way too. And how many times have the Bruins won face-offs and get the puck to Pastrnak, and then Pastrnak bangs in a goal? That's. And by the way, do you really think they're going to trade Pastrnak? Come on. No,
probably not. I mean, we'll see where the Bruins go. But this is a fun question from Ryan. He wants to know who Carolina's going to get as a scorer. I think I already know the answer to this one.
Line A.
No.
Mm-mm.
There's been one guy that I've heard linked to the Carolina Hurricanes right now. That's Vladimir Tarasenko.
Oh, Tarasenko?
Mm-hmm.
That would be foolish of them to do that, to get him.
Will it though?
I hope that. Listen, if they're going to go for a goal scorer, I hope that's who they get, because you know what? He's an injury prone old man that they can never stay on the ice long enough to be that effective. And he had a good year. I realize that, but let's be honest. He's always getting hurt. I mean, would you want him on your team if you're trying to win the cup? Do you think you could depend on him to stay healthy?
He showed he could stay healthy last year, but he's had question marks in his career, no doubt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's always getting hurt, and he makes a lot of money.
I think there's a better name out there, and I think there's going to be a couple teams bidding it, a bidding war for his services. Could be your Rangers, Pittsburgh Penguins if Malkin walks away, and these Carolina Hurricanes. That's Vincent Trocheck. I think that's a name that they're going to go after.
Yeah, and I don't think that he's going back to Florida, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of teams in the market for his services. Him and Nino Niederreiter as well.
Yeah. Well, Nino and Trocheck are being rumored to re-sign.
Are they being? Okay. I heard that they were testing the waters, but I think everything's up in the air right now as we await.
With Trocheck, something happened with Trocheck, and Trocheck is keeping an option for Carolina on the table. I do think they bring him back. As far as Nino goes, I don't think they should bring him back, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do. They had a lot of success this year, so I'm not expecting too many roster changes for this team. Bringing in another defenseman, potential trade for a goaltender. Ted, no, I'm not disappointed they didn't trade Gibby. I want to keep him as long as I can.
I've heard that they're not trading him.
I mean, I'd be okay if they didn't.
No, I've heard that they're not trading him; they're keeping him.
I'm hearing mixed. I'm hearing mixed. I keep hearing, and me and Dylan talk about this all the time. He says him and his agent are saying he's not going to play in Toronto. He's not going to play at Edmonton. He's not playing here. He's not playing there. He's rolling teams out already. So my guess is maybe not at this moment, but maybe by the trade deadline, Jonathan Gibson isn't a Duck anymore.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because you want to give the shot to the younger guy, right?
What's that, Brad?
Do they have a goalie in the system that's really good?
Luka Dostal.
Oh, okay. Okay,
yep.
Then maybe they might do that. I think they're going to keep him around. I think they're going to keep him around till the trade deadline.
Yeah, at least.
I just saw something before. Who was the commenter before Kevin Becker?
Benny.
Benny, what
about
did he
JT Miller?
Oh, JT Miller. Yeah, JT. Are they going to trade him or not? That's a good question. I know the Rangers have been trying.
I just heard the Rangers. Rangers were interested.
A reunion. I heard the same.
Yeah, I keep hearing that, but what is Vancouver asking for? I mean, he's only going to be there. He's only got a year now. Yeah, and if you go by the DeBrincat trade, a draft pick and a young player is all that was traded for DeBrincat. How much do they expect to be able to get for JT?
Right.
And they also he's not going to resign there. They've already paid Besser, and who's the other one that they just paid? The Ducks, the Canucks just paid 2 guys. I know they trade Besser. There's one other guy they were talking about that they just paid.
I remember seeing Brock getting signed.
That's all.
Besser got paid, so he's.
I think they got Bo Horvat last year or 2 years ago. Elias is up after this year, I believe, and I think Quinn's up after this year. I don't think there's really anybody else that's really that important in that roster.
I mean, it is Vancouver.
It is Vancouver. Yeah, you hear that, Dan? It's just Vancouver.
Just in case he's hanging, I wanted to give that little dig.
Yeah, well, Vancouver, from what I've heard, though, everybody likes playing in Vancouver.
It's a Boudreau system.
Oh.
Right? It
Everybody
works
likes
for everybody.
Everybody says they don't want to go there, and then when they go there, they all love it. So, that's.
I hear the city's nice.
Yeah, everybody seems to like playing there. So, and they're good fans up there. They show up, and they're rabid. So, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I'm seeing Sheldon Dries, Andrei Kuzmenko. These are all still like 1-2 year deals, 2-way contracts. Yeah, so it's just the Besser deal, really.
Okay, then it was Besser.
Yeah.
But I think they were saying, can they afford to pay Besser and pay Miller? I don't know. I don't know the Vancouver salary cap situation well enough to to know about that team.
I'll tell you in 1 second where they are.
They got about 2.1 mil in space.
Oh,
hey, Robbie, you're faster than me.
Yeah, my computer's running fast tonight. I got it tuned up.
Hey,
2.1 million in cap space. Wow.
Which is probably why they're trying to trade JT Miller to get some relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only got 1 more year left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too. It's
But
the same reason why a lot of the fans are trying to get JVR off the Flyers roster too.
I like that, Benny. Yeah, conditioning thing for Tarasenko. Yeah.
I would believe that.
Yeah, he's right. Brendan Moore could get him in shape.
Oh, there's no doubt. And Brendan Moore keeps himself in shape. He's getting the rest of his team in shape too. They're all on the same regiment.
How's Florida going to afford to pay Malkin too?
Well, if they don't, try to attempt to sign Claude Giroux, who's been rumored to go back to his original home in Ottawa and reunite there and play for the Senators.
See that. I'll believe
and
that.
And them getting DeBrincat kind of helps that notion a little bit in terms of
I'll believe that
maybe bringing in a Giroux as well.
Giroux going to Ottawa, I'll believe that I'll see it. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's a good story,
Okay, there's one reason. Okay, one reason he's going to stay in Florida. Do re mi. Okay, taxes in Canada and the taxes in Ottawa are unbelievably bad. He could if he stayed and made the exact same money he's making there. If he goes to Ottawa, he'll be paying about 10 to 15% more in taxes. There is no way. There is no way he's leaving Florida. He's got it made. If he resigns in Florida, he's got it made. Why do you think Tampa Bay gets all the top free agents? Why do you think everybody wants to go to Florida? Because they got the tax. They got the tax. The tax advantages there. There's no state income tax.
No income tax. No state income tax. Exactly. I get that. I mean, it depends on what's more important to him. I mean.
And they can play golf every day. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't play golf in Ottawa.
And it's not like, and I mean, the Panthers should certainly be a contender next season for him if it's all about getting the cup. And Senators, yeah, they're putting together something special there, but that's not going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Another Gaudreau prediction. I'm seeing a lot of the people thinking that he's going to go to the Islanders.
I hope he does go to the Islanders. That'd be a lot better than the Devils. Good gracious God.
It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Well, not for you. Yeah.
No. We don't want
I'm good with Johnny being out of the pack now.
Let Johnny. I got a team for him to go to. that nobody will care. Buffalo.
There you
We
go.
ain't going to Buffalo. Stop it.
Send him
But
to
you're right, though.
Siberia.
Nobody would care. No, the Buffalo Sabres fans wouldn't even care.
Well, I do think Buffalo Sabre fans would care, but
All right, maybe the three of them would be excited, but that's
No, I
it
mentioned it.
has been a while for Buffalo. I would tend to agree with you. I mean,
But the thing that scares me, if he would ever go to Buffalo, even Patrick Kane, if he ever decided to go home and play in Buffalo, it would wind up being like the Kyle Poso thing all over again, where they get the major contract and then they just become non-existent.
You know, this is a very dark horse team, and I mentioned them before in terms of a team that maybe Andrew Kopp might sign with. But could Nashville Predators make a play? They have $10 million in cap space.
they could do it. Sure,
No, they absolutely could.
they could. They could. I'm wondering about Dallas.
That's another good suggestion.
Yeah,
I'd be good with that.
Johnny Gaudreau in Dallas would be a
Kevin, absolutely appreciate it, brother. Absolutely appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate the tip and appreciate the people that sign up for our memberships as well. You can become an A2D member for $9.99 a month. You can get some amazing perks, including shout outs, member only shows, appearances, and weekly picks from the Money Pop podcast. Join today, and the link's always in the comments below.
Takes money, make money, baby. Let's go. And yeah, the Brinket got traded over the weekend. I want to say it was Friday afternoon. Or no, was it Thursday? It was Thursday. It was the day before the draft.
yeah. Yes. You're right. And I think when they traded him, it was for the 7th and 39th picks in the draft. It was the
They
7th.
undersold him.
Huh?
They undersold him.
Yeah.
24 years old, just coming off of back-to-back 40-goal years. I think they could have gotten a lot more from somebody else. I don't know what Kyle Davidson's doing there.
I don't know, but Pierre Dorian, who I've been extremely critical of the last 2 years, and I've beaten the hell out of him. When on the Sports Hounds,
Yeah,
I've been telling Rob, this guy is horrible. He's bad for hockey. Blah 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 blah. But he's finally they're finally starting to see some result. It took him like 5 years, but
yeah.
you're finally starting to see some results in Ottawa now. So they're going to be a better team.
Oh yeah, and I think that's going to be a part of the draw for Giroux to go there, is the fact that they're starting to pull themselves out.
Yeah, if you take a look right now in that division, you've got 3 teams that are going to be there for a while still. Tampa Bay, they're not going anywhere. Florida's not going anywhere. Toronto's not going anywhere. They're both going to be real solid. The Bruins are in trouble. They're the ones. The Bruins, the Penguins, the Capitals. Those are the 3 teams right now. I don't know when it's going to happen, but one of these years they're going down.
I throw Colorado in that mix too, Brad, because they have a lot of impending free agents, even this offseason, to ink down. I was looking through a list. They got to ink down Burakovsky, Sturm, Helm, Josh Manson, Jack Johnson, Ryan Murray. Those are all.
Wait a minute, Jack Johnson. He is he that important? Is this the same Jack Johnson that played for the Penguins and Rangers?
Yeah, but he played very well in these playoffs. He was a quality defenseman that they relied on. But I hear your point.
Jack Johnson.
I mean, Josh Manson's not going to be back. Josh Manson.
These are just a list of guys, along with Nazem Kadri. Valery Nichushkin is off that list. He signed an 8-year contract on Monday.
He's a tremendous player.
Right. So you saw where their priorities are. I'm just saying that there's a lot of these pieces. It's tough. It goes to show what the Tampa Bay Lightning have been doing is really all that special, even if they're bending some rules here and there in terms of keeping a unit together. It's not always that easy.
They do what they have to do. I mean,
it pays to have a lawyer as a head coach.
Yeah. But they
even though he's an asshole.
Yeah. I don't like Cooper at all, but whatever. I can't really say anything bad about him when the man won 2 straight Stanley Cups and then got his team into the finals and gave a team that was much better than them a very good run for their money.
Kevin, again, brother, we appreciate you, bro. We really do. We appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the fact that you find us more appealing and more worth your money than your local watering hole. So
Oh yeah, man, we bring happy hour to the people, man. You don't have to go out and freaking, you could, get unwholesome with us, but stay sober at home. It's a beautiful mix.
we need to get drunk at home. It's a little cheaper anyway.
Okay, so here's a question I have for you guys.
Sure.
Okay, regarding the Flyers. Okay, you have John Tortorella as a coach. Okay, now John wants to have a couple of goons on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't really have any hooligans on your team right now.
Just McEwen, really.
Yeah.
Sealer a little bit, but I don't think he's a quality enough hockey player to stick around. But go on.
You guys are somebody is gonna. I mean, maybe Delorier, somebody like that. You know you're gonna get somebody like that.
Yeah, you have to.
John Tortorella, when he gets pissed off about something, if another player annoys him or gets under his skin, and you know how he is, okay, or if he doesn't like something the other coach is doing, he wants to have a goon out there to beat the crap out of somebody. He's always been like that. To me,
yeah, and he's the type too that he's not accepting the fact that the game is changing either, and whether or not you feel it's for the good or not, he's not about it.
No, and I happen to think that he's right. I mean, did you see the change in the Rangers this year with Reeves?
Yeah.
Just the whole attitude of that team.
Yeah.
They knew nobody was gonna get picked on. They barely had any injuries this year. The only injuries they had were from blocking shots and that kind of thing. The usual annoying things that happened during the season. They didn't have anybody giving them cheap shots to put them out for the season because Ryan Reeves was on the team, and nobody wanted to really deal with Ryan Reeves. But the funny thing was in the playoffs, every time there was a skirmish, the referees went right to Ryan Reeves. Even if he was on the other side of the ice, they would go to Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, but the problem though is there's nobody available with the similar type of reputation that Ryan Reeves carries with him. And
Delorier.
I like Delorier. I think he does have a little bit
on
of
your team, so I would think that that'd be a guy that you would endorse. I would endorse the Flyers getting a guy.
I absolutely endorse it, but I don't necessarily think he's going to even leave Minnesota. I think they're going to re-sign him.
But he's a free agent.
I think they re-sign him.
But they're going to have to pay Kiprusoff. They got to pay Zuccarello after this season.
Delorier is not going to cost much. He's going to cost maybe $1 million, $1.5 million.
But is it worth it?
Yeah, for them, absolutely.
I mean,
balance.
They've got some guys. They got some guys that can drop. That guy Jordan Greenway can drop the gloves with anybody. That's why I'm wondering: do they really need Delorier? And who's the other guy that they got?
Greenway can also score. Like Delorier is just he's a goon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know. But Delorier also has some skills.
I love seeing Greenway have success finally in the NHL too, man, because I watched that kid come up through developmental and play for Team USA in the Olympics that one year. Just somebody you naturally root for that's maybe not on your team.
Yeah, he's a mean player.
Exactly.
I like him.
Snarl. Snarl of their game, yeah.
He would be the Jacob Trouba of the Minnesota Wild for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would endorse Josh Manson, but he's more than likely going back to Anaheim.
Yeah,
I like Josh Manson too.
And I think I do believe, and I heard a rumor today that if Nicolas Delorier does not re-sign in Minnesota, there's a chance he goes back to Anaheim as well.
Really? Okay.
So that's why I'm trying to think of who else is going to be available that can do that. That could be that type of player.
Tortorella likes tough guys on his team.
That's why I mentioned Josh Manson before. You know what I mean? I'd be interested in that. You know what I mean? Like adding little pieces.
If you remember, who was the first guy the Rangers went out and got when they got Tortorella? They went out and got themselves Tanner Glass.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Who had about as much talent on the ice as I did, but but he could go, and Tortorella wanted him really bad, and Tortorella went and got Brandon Prust on the team too. And you remember him?
Boom. Thank you, Betty, because that's exactly who was Zay Wisdom's mentor coming up. Yeah, that'd be Wayne Simmons.
I was about to say,
yeah, he can fill that role pretty good too. Yeah.
Well, what about a guy who probably hasn't played in like 2 years, but never officially retired? He's still available as a free agent. Not saying that it would actually happen, but let's just have some fun with this. Dustin Byfuglien. He's still a free agent. He never retired.
No, that's true. But did he lose enough weight to play?
True.
Don't know. I haven't heard a thing about Dustin Byfuglien in a couple of years, but
yeah,
never officially retired. I'm just having some fun with this one now.
I mean, he kind of Dustin Byfuglien is the hockey edition of Fat Mickey Lolich and Fat Sid Fernandez. Remember them baseball players?
Yeah, of course.
He was a force to be
who's
reckoned with.
Who's that?
El Cid.
Who's that? Who's the big fat guy on Pittsburgh that plays first base?
Oh, Vogelbach.
Yeah. They're the baseball editions of Byfuglien.
Sandoval.
I'm just afraid if you put Byfuglien on skates, is he going to look like those guys, or is he going to actually? Because he was getting really heavy when they finally let him go.
And then Tellez in Milwaukee's another one.
Yeah.
He's even bigger than Vogelbach.
Yes. I mean, Tellez is getting to Cecil Fielder proportions.
But I mean, hey, listen, Dustin Byfuglien, despite the weight, he was a force to be reckoned with. Like, if he was like, I remember him manhandling easily 2 members of the Nashville Predators, one in each hand, just kind of.
Yeah, no, he was. You know who he reminded me of as a hockey player? The Undertaker. He just did. It was like he could literally choke slam these guys. The way he used to take guys and like he put his stick back and threatened to hit somebody with his stick, and they were all scared to death that he'd actually do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was.
That's why I'm not a fan of Radko Gudas, because he's that same way.
Yeah, well, Gudas is just over the top. I mean, Gudas is the one that started Couturier with all the injuries. Because if I remember correctly, Couturier, his first knee injury was in a practice. And I saw the clip of when he got hurt. He had beaten Gudas down the wing, and he was heading to the goal, and Gudas actually extended his leg and tripped him.
Yeah.
And that's how he got hurt. And I don't know if you guys remember that or if you saw that clip, but when I saw that, I was like, how could they keep this guy? And they ended up trading him the next time for what's his name, the guy on Washington, Niskanen.
Yeah.
That's when they finally traded him. Yeah,
they defense misses him.
Yeah, and Niskanen, I think the Flyers, when they lost Niskanen, I think that was a big, big loss. Huge loss.
All right, fun time. From Kevin, he wants to know. And by the way, he did comment, if we Google this, we lose. Who assisted Yanni Niemema's first NHL goal? The hint is it was Yanni Niemema's childhood hero.
He's a Flyer, correct?
Yep.
At that point, he was, yes.
I think I know the answer. I'm just trying to remember when Yanni began his career. And if he began his career before 2006, which I believe he did, my guess, Kevin, is Eric Desjardins.
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to say Mikkel Renberg.
I would think maybe Lindros.
I'm going to say Renberg. I'm trying to think of childhood heroes, Niemema's time, who was Kevin said no. So it's not Desjardins.
Not Daisy. All right. I'm out.
It's not Renberg. What's up, Jimmy? You can check Jimmy. Sorry, let me try that again. You can check Jimmy out on we're doing things differently now. So the mixture of the Sports Hounds and the Flight Zone every Monday night.
Yes, he's on. He's on with us on Monday. Oh, he wasn't there last night, but he will be on with us on Monday nights.
Yeah, I was listening to the boys yesterday, so we had a conversation going on. I was on board too with the center fielder over a pitcher.
It's nice that somebody. It's nice that somebody can take over the basketball for me.
I feel you.
I can't do basketball. That's one thing I can't do.
I do my best with basketball, but I mean, I'm a hockey fan. I'm not. It's hard to be both. It's hard to be both. So it's nice to have somebody who can really talk to Rob about basketball and that sees the Sixers play more, because I don't really see them play that much anyway. If I do watch basketball, I'm going to watch the Knicks, which is always a rough thing to do. But
wow, Kevin, this is good.
That's a tough one.
Priz is in the chat.
Wait. No, Ron Brintamore maybe.
What up, Priz? Oh yeah, shit.
Maybe Rod Brintamore.
He said, "Not Recky, but you're warm to Priz."
Yeah, I thought he was more in the 2000. He was more in the mid-90s. He was Ninema only a Flyer for 2 years?
Ninema was a Flyer for, I want to say it was about 5 years.
That's what I thought.
And then I believe he got shipped off to Edmonton. Because I remember
maybe Mike Ricci?
No, it wasn't that long ago.
No, okay.
No.
Yeah, he was a Flyer from 96 to 98. And then he went to the Oilers in the 97-98 season.
Hold up. Benny's close with Howard. So maybe
Howard
I'm
Chuck
off.
played for the Flyers at the end of his career.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
All
right, so it's got to be somebody like that then. An old guy that Flyers.
I'm stupid. I was thinking of Pickenin for Ninema.
It wasn't possible. It was Zubrus. They were all the same.
Player played for the Flyers at the end of his career.
Who's the greatest assist player of our generation?
That would be the question. With Yager? No. Yager only played 1 year there too.
No, it was much later too.
Adam Oates.
Yeah.
That's a good question. It was Adam Oates. I wouldn't have thought Adam Oates. I didn't realize Adam Oates was that same time frame. I thought he was a little bit later.
Adam Oates was a rookie in 87. 86, 87.
Wow, Kevin, great
at least
question.
So 87, 88 was his rookie card with the Red Wings. It was his O-Pee-Chee hockey card, rookie card.
I wouldn't have thought.
I admit it. I try to hockey cards.
I still do.
Oh, okay. That's right.
I've got an Adam Fox Young Gun card. That's going to be worth a ton of money. I also got Kaprizov as well.
Nice.
Wow. So, that was a great question.
Yeah, he got me. I mean, listen, Flyer trivia, you're going to get me most of the time with Flyer trivia. I mean, Ranger trivia, I'll be right 90% of the time, but
actually, it shows that Johnny posted first. Priz, sorry, buddy. Sorry, Priz. What's up, buddy? How you feeling today, bro? Oh, that was good.
Welcome in everybody that's joining us here in the second hour here at Hockey Happy Hour, being brought to you by FanUp. It's the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Daily MLB contest, NFL, not too far around the corner. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, $50 value. FanUp.app.
Priz just sent me a screenshot. Hang on, Priz. Let's verify this. We're going by official A2D. Official A2D says, what's the same time, but Johnny's is in front of yours. I'm sorry.
It's a tie.
Love you, Priz. It's definitely a tie.
You both win our esteemed respect and admiration.
You win this. Here, it's my bottle of water.
Wow.
All right, so
NHL Free Agency. Are you going to sign it?
If he wants me to. I'll sign
Yeah,
it.
he's got to
Absolutely.
sign it in black Sharpie, and then and then he'll be happy. Or
I
silver
drank out of
Sharpie.
it too, so he'll have my DNA.
There you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
not here. Tracks flies.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. It's been that kind of day. All right. So what we're talking about, NHL Free Agency, you should probably slide over to the draft now. And
Yeah,
discuss
boys.
some of
Yeah, boys. That's why I gave the read.
that. Sorry, I was half paying
You
attention.
guys picked yourself
I
up a nice
apologize.
little sniper.
Yeah. Happy with that. Happy with a guy with size too. Getting to my earlier point, what's he about 230 already?
Something like that. He's
Oh,
over.
yeah.
I know he's over 200 at 18.
You big boy.
Yep. I
You
think kids like that just need to learn to be a little stronger on the puck and play defense, and then they'll be in the NHL. That's really all. When you've got that kind of ability and you've got size like that, that's really all it takes.
Yeah, dude. I love this draft. I love.
6'2", 201.
So that's a big boy for 18, 201. I mean, I love the pick.
So you got to figure he's probably going to grow a couple of more inches. So you're probably looking at a 6'3", 215-pound player. Who's going to be a beast to try to stop. That's not bad. That's not a bad first round pick.
No, and he's probably going to be up in less than 2 years. I mean,
How
he
much
doesn't really need to put much size up there, and he's already got the ability to score. He's got a great power move off the wing.
How much did it kill you though to see Shane Wright fall all the way to 4, and then you were
I was surprised
so
at that.
close to getting him.
I know. Tease, right?
Yeah, that was cruel. I was thinking about you guys, and I said to myself, that's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, it was. It
no-
was
these
cruel
guys-
and unusual punishment.
There is no need for that.
But they must have seen these scouts for the first 3 picks between Montreal and the Devils, and I'm blanking on who had the 3rd pick, but they must have seen Coyotes. They must have seen something they didn't like.
Yeah,
Well,
something turned him off. He slipped.
It's his big mouth.
Yeah, that could be it.
He supposedly is very cocky and kind of, I was mentioning to Rob last night, the guy's kind of like, from what I've heard, he's kind of, a big douche, and that might be, and he's not not easy to coach. So maybe that's the issue. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we'll find out. The idea of Shane Wright and Matt Beniers, that's a very bright future for the Seattle Kraken. Very bright future for the Seattle Kraken. That's
give him a couple of years.
I'm gonna give Shane a year, and he's up. Beniers will come up at the same time.
Well, no,
they're going to grow together.
As far as them, as far as that team coming back and getting into the playoffs again for the first time in their existence, it's going to take them. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, I mean, they still got some building to do. I mean, we said it after the expansion draft on here that they're not looking to win right now. They're looking big picture. They're trying to build a franchise that is going to have a larger window. We're starting to see the window in Vegas close. They've been through 3 coaches in 5 years, 6 years of existence.
Yes.
We're starting to see that start to kind of fall apart. And I think we're starting to see Seattle put something together that's going to last a little bit longer than what we're seeing in Vegas right now. And I like it. I like what they're doing. I love what they're doing.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. Do you think with Jack Eichel coming back, it's going to make a little bit of a difference for Vegas this year?
I think so. I think a lot of difference. Going to be a lot more.
I would not write off that team at all.
No. Especially get a healthy Mark Stone back in your lineup.
Yep, I think he's going to make the bigger impact than Eichel is having Mark Stone back in that lineup.
Yeah, but I mean, Eichel was coming back from a big-time injury, long-time layoff. He had to get his skates underneath him, and I don't think he ever quite did last season. Now you have a complete off-season with the team. You come in with training camp. I think he's a talent. But, I mean, don't let me diminish the effect of Mark Stone.
Not old either. He's right in the middle of his prime. He should be. Jack Eichel should be a major factor this year for them.
Right.
Otherwise, they really blew it to trade a guy like Tuck and some of those other guys that they traded for.
Let me just say this real quick, Brad, too, because I wasn't on the show last week and I didn't give my obligatory pat on the back. The show before, my hot take was that Slafkovsky would be the number 1 pick. I actually laid some money down. I got plus 500 on FanDuel for it, too.
Very good. Very good.
Boom. Man, when I saw his name got picked, I was like, cha-ching.
That didn't really surprise me, though, because they were
Right.
saying that he was very strong. He was a very
Surprise.
strong
Everything I
possibility
heard,
to overtake. Yeah.
all I've been hearing for the last year and a half is Shane Wright, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And came fourth.
But there's an issue with the guy if you're already talking about the next guy in the next draft already with Bedard. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm not surprised about, right? I didn't think he would slip that far, but
Bedard, they're saying that Bedard is going to have the same kind of an impact as Austin Matthews. So
right.
We'll see about that. That's a big and McDavid, they're already comparing him to those guys. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put in a young player.
Now, what do you boys think about the Devils at 2 going with Simon Nemec, a defenseman out of Slovakia?
They need a defenseman. They don't have any defensemen on their team. Their defense. First of all, they got rid of Slewfoot Subban, right? He's not on the team anymore, and it really hasn't worked out with the guy they signed from. Who did they sign? They signed Torrey Krug, did they not? Or St. Louis?
Dougie Hamilton.
St. Louis.
Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah, Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah, they signed Dougie Hamilton. That didn't really work out all that well.
Didn't. Glad that Flyers passed on that.
Well, I mean, they got Ty Smith, who still needs a little bit of time to develop. They still have, I believe, Damon Severson, who's been a solid defenseman. I honestly, I love the pick. You can never have too many defensemen, especially in your pipeline. It's definitely one of their weaker links outside of goaltending. Still don't know what's up with Blackwood. Offensively, I think they're fine. Devils are going to be a playoff team in the next year and a half.
They're going to get better and better offensively. I just don't think they've got enough on the back line or in between the pipes to be a major factor.
Same.
And where it shows up. It shows up on the road. That's where it really shows up because offense doesn't necessarily travel well in the NHL.
No, it doesn't. And like I said, there's pieces there on the defensive end that could still be really good. With Nemec coming in, I think that makes him a little bit stronger. I think the only thing they really should address, and I don't necessarily think it's something they need to address this year, but if they strengthen up that defense a little bit more and have them actually play well in front of Blackwood, don't be surprised if you see the Devils as a bubble team, depending on what they do starting tomorrow.
No, I won't be. I won't be. Listen, they're in a position now where they can now they can try to start filling in some holes. Before they just had no talent for a long time, but that's starting to change. So We'll see. It's going to be tough for them to make the jump.
Ted, from what I understand, the last press conference they did with Ryan Ellis, they finally figured out what's been going on with him. And I think they expect him back at some point this year, if not this year, next year. It could be wrong.
What exactly happened to him? What was the injury?
I mean, it's hockey. They never specify.
Right, yeah.
I mean, at this point, that you think they should, though, man. Just to give an idea, I mean, that's what I hate about freaking sports. You wait until gambling's finally fully legal, and now you're being like at an all-time high in secrecy and being coy. Like baseball fucking kills me, absolutely kills me. But all sports are bad. Sorry, ran it over.
I mean, hockey's always been that way, though. They never really specified. They always was like lower body injury, upper body injury.
And Ted, to your point, you're right. I mean, Doug, being on the ice was better than the way we went with Ellis.
Facts.
But when it comes to hockey, when they announce an injury, like if they said somebody has a bad shoulder, the first thing the hockey players do is when they're in the corner, they make sure that they give the guy a whack in the shoulder. or if he has a back problem, they're going to hit him in the back with they're going to cross check him. I mean, that's hockey. That's why they never
Poor
tell you what
Priz.
the injury is.
I'm sorry, Prez. I actually made a comment about this earlier, and I actually defended you, just so you know.
I remember, and everybody tuned in. Remember that membership that I was talking about? Priz 280, one of our proud members here. You see that insignia there? Gets all those perks that I mentioned before. I'll read them off again. You get shout outs, members only shows, appearances, weekly picks from the Money Pot podcast, everything. $9.99 a month pays for itself, boys. Right in the links in the comments.
Yes, sir. Ryan, no. You wanted out there to go back to neutral zone trap. No. That was nope. That's it. I don't think that's the thing anymore.
Right. Now, what kind of focusing in on each of your respective teams? Can you guys? We'll start with you, Brian, with the Ducks. What letter grade would you give them for their draft, and what particular draft picks were you fond of?
Their first two I was particularly fond of. They took a Russian defenseman who actually has some legit scoring ability, which was mind-blowing. The entire time, and I'm actually kind of glad they didn't take him because Connor Geekie has a lower body injury right now. Was hoping for Connor Geekie. That was my guy. That was the dude I wanted. And they took Pavel. I'm not even going to try to say his name right now because
Mityokov.
Michikov.
Michikov, is that right?
Michikov, yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Big fan of that move, and I'm happy about the center they took too. Overall, I would probably give the Ducks a solid B plus on their draft. For Verbeek being his first draft with the Anaheim Ducks, I thought he did a really good job of landing some stuff. Didn't push any trades that were unnecessary, which I thought was great. Took a couple players I didn't really expect, and I still don't know a whole ton about the players that we have. I'm going to do a little bit more homework tomorrow now that I'm actually going to have some time off. And from what the little that I've read about these guys, especially the first two guys, it's solid B plus, B plus. I'm all about it.
Word, absolutely. Brad, you got your Ranger picks graded?
I would probably give them a B. I mean, they didn't have a first round pick, so
right.
The kid Sakura. I'm wondering if Sakura is related to the Sakura that used to play for the Devils.
That'd be interesting.
Don't know that. I do know that this guy was in the under 18 World Championships. I think he scored a couple of goals in that tournament. So I mean, he's got some ability, but again, it's a second round pick. Who knows? They basically drafted almost all centers, so they're trying to find centers. So we'll see how that works out. I like the idea because I always think that if you draft a center, you can always convert them to wing. It's a lot hard. If they don't work, you can put them on wing. But you can't put a wing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You can't put a wing at center, though.
You could go the other way around, but yeah, especially if a guy can't take face-offs. Johnny, something tells me that's not the first cherry you popped in your lifetime, but
hey, he's right though.
But yeah, I mean, the Rangers didn't really have to do too much though, because to your point, the youth and depth is there. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're minus first round pick, but it's like you've already collected your picks together and put the young pups together.
As far as they're concerned right now, they've got two studs in the minors. They've got Oathman and Will Cooley, Brendan Oathman and Will Cooley, who are both dynamite young players. And Oathman, the problem with Oathman is though Oathman can't play in the AHL this year. I think he's too young to play in the AHL. Either he has to make the Rangers or he has to go back down to juniors again. Right. Cooley can. So, but from what I remember last year in the minors, or rather in training camp, I'm sorry, Oathman had an unbelievable training camp. He almost made the team last year. So I think they're going to want to have him here. And also Krasov. So you've got 3 young players who are all, and there's also Nils Lundqvist, who's another one, and Jones. I can't remember his first name, but Zach Jones, who's a defenseman. They've got a lot of really good young players that are ready to come up that they could probably play in a lot of teams in the NHL right now. So there's a ton of young talent down there. That's why when you ask me about Kane, I think if the Rangers want to get Kane, they're going to get him.
Yeah, they have a lot of pieces, to offer.
Yeah, they've got all these young players down there, and you can't keep all of them. Daniel Robertson is another really good defenseman that they have down in the minors. So I mean, how many players can you keep?
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. You draft depth so that you can trade it for exactly what you want.
Right, a big piece, a missing piece.
Yeah, and I think with the Rangers, it's going to come down to not this coming season. After this coming season, I think you might see Trouba go, and I think you might see Schneider move up to the second pairing if he progresses the way he did this past season.
Sure.
You trade Trouba and his $8 million contract somewhere else, and all of a sudden you've got some room to go out and really do some damage in the free agent market next year.
That's why I think he goes to Colorado.
He might. I mean,
it's going to be between those 2 teams.
It's not his choice, though. It's Chicago's choice, and Chicago's going to trade him to whoever gives them the best package. I don't necessarily. I think the Avalanche, for the most part, most of their top players are already on the team.
Well, if I remember correctly, Kane has a full no movement clause, so I think he has to approve the trade before anything happens.
Well, he's already
similar to Giroux.
Yeah, but he'll go to New York, and he'll go to New York, no question. He'll go to the Avalanche too. I think any really good team that I would bet that he would probably approve a trade to Vegas. He would approve a trade to any team in Florida. Do we have to go through the no tax states again?
I think he just wants to get back to winning a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well,
and get his 4th.
If you put the tax situation and winning at the same time, okay, there's 3 or 4 states that he could get traded to that would easily make him very, very happy.
Absolutely. Let me give a quick rundown. Flyers picks, what I think of him, then we'll move on to the shootout, boys. We talked about Cutter already. 18-year-old kid from Sweden, 6'2", 200 pounds, great shot. I think it was a great pick at 5 there, based on what was left on the board. Hopefully we'll fit a need for this team sooner than later, like Brian was pointing out before. Then they went for, they didn't pick till round 3, and then again in 5 and 6. And they went 3 straight American players, and Devin Kaplan, right winger, 6'3", 205. Love it. Alex Bump, left winger, 6 foot, $195. And then they went for their first defenseman, and I like this. This was a sneaky pick at 6. Hunter McDonald, hopefully going to restore the McDonald name in Philadelphia. 6'4", 205 pounds. And then 7 round picks, kind of unknown to me. I don't want to comment on something I don't know about, but I think it was an A. I mean, and all the down talk about the job Chuck Fletcher is doing here in Philadelphia, and I've been one of them. I'm going to applaud him for doing something good, and I think it was a good draft for the Flyers.
Yeah, from the little bit that I've seen, including the acquisition of Tony DeAngelo, I thought this was a very good draft for the Flyers.
A couple. You got to add that with it too. Yep.
I think they've had a pretty good off season. The Flyers, they're going to have to be very aggressive come tomorrow. With trades and free agents, as I said, they have to figure out a way to do that. Prism, I don't think that Dallas is going to be trading Sagan for Kane. I don't think that would be. First of all, why would Chicago want a player? Why would they want a player that they're going to pay a lot of money to? They're trying to stink. They're not just trying to get worse. They're trying to stink.
for cap floor.
Tyler Seguin's not that good anymore.
Yeah,
but
he hasn't been the same since his last injury.
If they're shedding all the salary, though, they have to hit a floor, though. So maybe that's a player that helps them do that.
Yeah, Seguin would keep him on the floor. Sagan's not making as much as Kane, but that keeps him on the floor.
True. I mean, Dallas. I think Dallas is looking to try to do something because Dallas is kind of hit a situation now where they've had 2 years now where they have they got to the finals and then they've been going steadily down and they need to make a move to jolt that franchise or they're going to they almost didn't even make the playoffs this year. I mean, listen, if Vegas didn't get banged up like the way they did, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Right. They dug a big early season hole and they climbed out of it, but they got some help.
Seguin has a $9.85 million cap hit from Prism.
Yeah, so the money's relatively the same. Kane's, I think, at 10.5 or something along those lines.
Kane is at 10.5, I believe, for this year.
You just want Kane, and I don't blame you.
It keeps Kane in his family. It keeps Kane in the circle.
I'd be begrudgingly false in saying that I wouldn't think that the Kane going to the Rangers wouldn't make them instantaneous Eastern Conference finalists. I mean, that just puts the guys over the edge.
I 100% agree with you that if the Rangers can find a way to get Kane, they're going to be in the finals next year. I think there's no question about that. That guy, adding a guy like that to play with Panarin, and then when you have a 52-goal scorer on your first line, and then those two guys on your second line, and then you've got the kid line playing on the third line. Those three kids, you can keep them on the third line.
I'm going to attach a poster board to this thing and just protest this deal. No Kane, no. No Kane, no. I don't want to say it.
Speaking of no Kane, no.
You can just say the only Kane you're going to get is the Undertaker's brother.
Vander. Oh, the Undertaker's brother, Kane. Because when you asked that Tortorella question before, you know what one player that came in mind was Evander Kane for some reason.
He would be a perfect Tortorella player.
Right.
See, because he just have to worry about his off the ice issues.
No.
Yeah.
And he always seems to get himself in trouble.
Yeah, and Philly is an easy place to get yourself in trouble. There's no question about that.
Sure.
You're only 2 hours from AC.
Yeah.
You've already seen him get himself into trouble in San Jose.
Yeah.
Cheerleaders and Elias.
There's nothing to do up there. He would have stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, if he went to New York, you can imagine the trouble he'd get himself into. Oh my God!
You got cheerleaders at Delilah's Den, practically walking distance from the well.
No, let's be real. Those girls, they're for James Harden.
Oh, sure.
They're not for Vander Kane. They're for James Harden. Those are his girls.
Truth be told. And on that note, our third period comes to an end. It was brought to you by All Campus, the home of the A2D Ramp booth. And they're giving 20% off everything in their store, including hats, shirts, and their team cornhole sets to all A2D subscribers. So, summertime, go out to the boards. Go check them out, All Campus.
I think they're also doing their rant now on Wednesday night. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did see a notification pop up.
To Wednesday night now. So, if you happen to be over in Ocean City on a Wednesday night, between going to the rides, stop over.
Yeah, you go down on Monday, you come back Sunday. It's right midweek, something fun to do.
Yeah, go get yourself some gear from whatever team you like.
That's one boardwalk. I've definitely grown up a lot on the Jersey Shore, and that's one area of the shore I haven't hit up as much as I should. So I'm gonna get my ass down there for sure.
Yeah, next time I come up, I gotta get down there.
Bad things do happen in Philadelphia. We got a shirt. You could go to
PhilaDrinkers.com. You can get a mug there too. You get a shirt that says "Bad Things Happen in Philly."
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put out one of the shootout questions to you boys and go grab the shirt to demonstrate. So let's begin it. Let's start it off tying into the topic of the day, free agency. name one hot take that you have that's going to go down either tomorrow or during the free agency period. Who would like to start it off?
Ooh, hang on. Give me a second.
I'm going to give you some time to think, but I can still hear you.
Okay, hang on. Because this is actually really, really awesome that you brought this up, because there is one hot take. I just got to bring up the NHL free agents. Give me a second here. Oh, good. The Phillies lost again. Okay.
That's not good for our for our group. We don't want
you get more ratings when you come in to complain. But if it makes you feel any better, Braves are up 4-1 on the Mets right now.
Oh, well, okay.
All the Philly fans out there.
Not really bad things happening.
That's the shirt, Kev. You get it right now. I love it.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Mets won last night, so they did their job. They avoided getting swept.
Max is crazy, man. You know,
They
he's
can still win the series. And
it's like you don't appreciate a guy until you have him on your team, you know. And I've always been like a hater on Max because he was so damn good. But since coming back from the oblique injury, 20 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 23 strikeouts.
Oh, he's great. Come on.
Great.
Okay, so he's old and they paid him a ridiculous amount of money, but he's still freaking Max Scherzer.
Yeah, dude. You don't appreciate it until you see it every 5th day.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
Yeah. Guy's great.
Oh, I like that, Ted. Malkin goes to the Caps. That would be good.
Oh, that's a rumor.
Oh, could you imagine that?
That's popped up a lot here. John thinks the same thing. That's the rumor right now. But here's my hot take on who goes somewhere. I think the Flyers go after Dylan Strome.
Okay. I would like that.
They didn't qualify him. He's a UFA now, so
I know he is.
Signing everywhere. So
he's on the
he's 25 years old. He kind of fits to what the Flyers are trying to do, and he's a guy who can score. I mean, he's not a sniper, but he's very good at creating offense.
He's
good pedigree.
Right too.
Yeah.
Just hasn't come to fruition yet for maybe a new place, new change of scenery. I like it.
But this is funny. This is funny. This is the reason why I'm putting this up here. Chris says Malkin to Detroit. That's not the funny part. I think Don would actually like that. Gaudreau, not to Philly. Kane to the Kings is feasible. Ducks get everyone back they traded and trade them again. Josh Manson is linked back to the Ducks. So, yes, I see that last part happening.
Chris, I just got to know, Kane. Which Kane are we talking about? Is Kane the Evander or Patrick?
I think he's talking Evander.
Evander, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Strome's a great player, and they already have it. They have. Is his brother still in the Flyers organization? The younger one. Matt Strome, I think his name is.
Don't know.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. I think I was hearing a broadcast that was talking about the three Stromes, right?
Yeah, why don't you bring them all 3 to the Metro?
There you go. It's
what they did with the Stahl brothers. All 3 Stahl brothers were in the Metro at one point.
True.
Where do you think Ryan Strome is going to end up?
Ryan Strome?
Yeah. He's not going to play for the Rangers. The Rangers he wants too much money. The Rangers know him very well. So if they don't want to pay him whatever he's asking, obviously they think he's not worth what he's asking for.
Well, I could answer your question and have it segue perfectly into my hot take. I think a place could be the Carolina Hurricanes, who I think is going to be the biggest spender in the free agency market. Right now, they're just shy.
Rangers on their team?
Say again?
But you mean the Rangers South, Carolina?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There could be a fit like that. I mean, I've associated the Tampa Bay Lightning as
How many ex-Rangers can be on that team?
More. There's more. I thought there was more on the Lightning than Carolina. Is there more on Carolina now?
Well, there's more on Carolina now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, what I was in the middle of saying is that they're just shy of 20 million of their cap. They got about 20 million to spend during this free agency. I think they're going to take care of their in-house 2 signings that we were talking about before, and then some.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Hot take here is that Patrick Kane will be a Ranger tomorrow.
Knew it. Tomorrow. Not
Please
even
be
just me.
specific,
It's
too.
happening tomorrow. I love it.
It's
I love it.
happening tomorrow.
I don't love it, but I love the bravado.
I think it's happening tomorrow. I want to say tomorrow, just because I can.
It's good enough reason.
All right.
That's why we do what we do, because we
If
can.
I'm wrong, then I'm going to conclude it with this. If it's not tomorrow, it's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time. Nah, hey, it might go down right away. You know what I mean?
We
Why
have
wait?
more young players to give up to Chicago than the Avalanche do. And the Avalanche are not going to be giving up any key players that they can win, that help them win the Stanley Cup for Kane. They're going to want to give them young players, and they don't have that many guys like the Rangers do.
That's true. Not as many, but they do have Andrew Newhook. You know, they weren't willing to give up for Claude Giroux in a potential rental situation, but they could do in a more permanency with
What about
Patrick Kane.
what about the Rangers gave up Will Cooley, who's the other one? Kako, and a number 2.
I mean, I think that could get it done. I'm not as familiar with Cooley though. So I'm just taking your word for it on him.
Or Oathman.
Sure.
Cooley or Oathman, they're the 2 top prospects on the.
Give them both. Rape them for fucking prospect. No.
What I say is, listen, you can win the cup next year if you make the right moves right now. You're in the position where you can do that. Do what you got to do and worry about next year.
Absolutely. All right, boys, let's move it along. Go to shootout number 2. Brian, what's one player you desire your team to acquire?
Oh, boy. Nazem Kadri. If we're talking free agency, I want Nazem Kadri. If I could pick one player. He's familiar with Cody Eakins. Or Dallas Eakins, sorry. I'm thinking of his kid. He's familiar with Dallas. He played with Dallas and juniors, for Dallas and juniors, so he's familiar with what his expectations are and all that other stuff. He could be a leader in the locker room. I know it's not the flashy, big market team, but 45 minutes south of LA. So semi big light.
Beautiful out there.
I think it's a good opportunity. It depends on what he wants, but I want Kadri. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, that's who I would desire right now. I mean, I would even take Johnny too, but I don't think Johnny wants to come to SoCal.
Beautiful out there, though. Beautiful out there.
Oh yeah, it's life changing out there.
See, I got 3 guys. Can I say 3 guys?
Of course. No. You got to narrow it down to 1.
Okay.
Narrow it down to 1.
It would be between JT Miller, Dubois, and Line. Love Line.
Yeah, you could list them all, but you got to pick one.
Line.
Well, that's a good
I
one.
heard Dubois is actually very doable. I'm hearing a lot of rumors that
they want
they're
a lot for him. They want the sun, the moon, and the planet Mercury.
He's a 24-year-old scoring winger. I'd ask for a lot too.
Well, yeah, no, I get
I'd
that,
pay it.
but he's not going to resign with them, and he's only got 1 year left on his deal too.
No, and that's part of the reason why I think Chicago didn't ask for so much for DeBrincat. Was that similar situation? But I mean, I would have been like, no, we want more.
Surprising, yeah. I mean, Kane would be something I think they're going to do. But I mean, if I had my choice, I love Line. I think if you put Line with Panarin, I don't care who plays center. It wouldn't matter.
You put anybody with Panarin, it's going to be like that, though.
Yeah, just throw Hedl at center. Let him play with those guys. No problem.
The cold streaks are epic, though, man.
Huh?
The cold streaks with Lane are epic.
It wouldn't be that long. It wouldn't be that long with Panarin playing with Panarin, though. I mean, you score by accident playing with Panarin. Why do you think Kopp scored so many points this year?
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Why do you think Ryan Strome all of a sudden goes from 6 goals in a season with Edmonton, and then all of a sudden he's playing with Panarin and he's getting 60 points, and this year he gets 21 goals?
Yeah.
That doesn't
might have
happen,
something to do with it.
huh?
I said it might have a little something to do with it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if Line, which I don't think the Blue Jackets are gonna trade him. I think they're gonna really try and keep him.
Right.
I would imagine. And
Sure.
I've heard no rumors about him going anywhere either. But Dubois would be a perfect fit because he is a natural center.
I think I'd rather have Dubois than Lane. I mean, I think Lane is not going to cost you as much, but you got to have to worry about if you give him an offer sheet, you got to, depending on what the compensation is going back to Columbus, he may not be worth it.
Well, no, next year he's a free agent.
Thought he was a free agent this year.
No, next year. He's a UFA next year.
I don't think that's right. I thought I saw that he was an RFA this year. I'll look that up real quick.
I don't know. I don't think he's an RFA this year. I think he's signed for this year, and then next year he's a UFA. I could be wrong, you know.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about this before. That he was going to be an RFA this year. Oop,
You
wrong
mean I'm
season.
wrong? That never happens.
Usually I'm the one that's always wrong.
Well,
Yeah, no, he's a free agent. He's an RFA.
put that in the win column. There you go.
Yeah, it's about time I get one in the win column. I needed that. I needed that one. Oh no, yeah, he's an RFA this year.
Oh, he is an RFA,
Mm-hmm.
but he could be a UFA next year, though, right?
Yep, could be.
So we're both right.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take it. We'll split it down the middle.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It doesn't bother me that you're right at all. I just want to make sure that I know I'm not wrong. That's all.
Yeah, he's an RFA. If he signs after his next contract, he'll be a UFA.
Got it. So we'll see with him. What about you, Rob?
I hear me out here with this. One guy I'm interested in the Flyers getting is John Klingberg, and I'll tell you why. You know, he's turning 30 in August. It doesn't really fit the motif, but he's just the type of player that could help, you know, sort of bridge the gap for this defense until you get a healthy Ellis, and he can add to it once you get Ellis back. He had 47 points, 41 of them being assists in 74 games last season, and he's third among defensemen in the North Stars history with 374 points. So he can get some points for you, plays solid defense. This would be conditional upon the Flyers being able to trade JVR and get rid of that contract, trading a TK, and potentially even trading Provorov as well. You know, Klingberg could be a guy that could help. You know,
sure you want to trade Provorov though?
I've sort of gone back and forth on it because I know the minute that you trade a talent like that, you could see him being one, you know, just taking off in the league. But he's a finger pointer, dude. And I don't like those type of players on the team. I'm just saying that if you could rebuild your team now, if you wanted to make a move for Gaudreau,
don't trade him to the East. Trade him to the West.
Oh, for sure. Get him the fuck out of the East. Yeah, exactly. But the thing of it is I've seen a lot of chinks in his armor watching him all the time, man. I don't know. Like his skills, they are at least appreciated unless he's just that unhappy and he's that unmotivated. And again, do you really want players like that on your team? It becomes a question. If I'd like to make it work out, but I'm telling you, man, I don't think the guys in that locker room care for him that much, man. There's a big divide. And if you're trying to rebuild something that's not healthy.
He's the one that's starting that divide too.
You could get an arm and a leg for him.
Right.
You really could. I mean,
well, apparently they tried
and
to
it
trade him at
sheds
the
salary
deadline.
too.
Apparently they tried to trade him at the deadline. Nobody wanted him.
Right.
Really?
Or the deals just weren't good enough. I'm not.
Yeah, maybe they were lowballing him. Maybe they were lowballing the Flyers then. But you know, now they could still probably get a lot for him.
I mean, I'd be willing to see what they can get for him, trade him, get some of that cap back. I mean, to me, after his first couple of years, like the last 2 years for me, Provorov has been kind of underwhelming. Caught out of position a lot. That's the big one for me. Is he's been caught out of position a lot. Boy. All right. What else we got here going on?
All right, let's do it up. Sorry, I was getting back to somebody that was commenting.
It's all good.
Third shootout. This is a little fun one to wrap up the show, and this doesn't have to be hockey related, just any sport. Most underrated sports movie.
Moneyball. I think that's a very underrated movie. I don't think many people appreciate that. Actually, no, scratch that. Scratch that. Trouble with the Curve.
Oh, you should have stuck with Moneyball. Ugh.
I think Trouble with the Curve was a very underrated movie. I watched that again. It's very good. I know you're probably not the biggest fan of it, but I think it's a very underappreciated movie.
If it's a movie you like, it's your answer. I ain't gonna hate on it.
But you are.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
No,
I agree with your first statement.
Is that the one with Tom Selleck?
That was Mr. Baseball.
Yeah. Oh, that was Mr. Baseball. Okay.
Yeah, it was Mr. Baseball.
Okay.
Trouble with the Curve was Justin Timberlake, Clint Eastwood, and Amy Adams.
Oh, okay. Now I know which one it was.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good movie.
Oh, Jake wins. Jake
Basketball.
wins.
Love
Basketball, completely underrated movie. Not enough people know about that movie. Go check it out if you love South Park. It's from the guys who did South Park, and it's probably one of the best, most quotable movies I've ever watched in my life.
Youngblood was pretty good too.
Youngblood was very good.
Like Youngblood.
You see, Prez, this is why you my boy.
I love it. Yeah, there's a lot of underappreciated ones. What made me think of this question was one came up on MLB Network when I was in between games the other day, and man, I hadn't watched it in a while, and it was a pretty good movie. And this goes a little ways back, but I'm gonna say Little Big League.
Oh, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I like Little Big League. Little Big League. Rookie of the Year is another one that I think is a little underappreciated.
Yeah, they'll always be tied together because they came out like within months of each other, and it was like a kid in the major leagues type story, but totally different. But what I think separate, I love that the coach calling him by all the different names, like Rosenbagger,
Gardenhoser,
Gardenhoser, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Right, but what I liked about Little Big League is how they used real MLB players on the on-field scenes. You know, Raffy Palmeiro, Ken Griffey Jr. was in that at the end.
Ken Griffey Jr. was hilarious. Remember when he hit that home run and then he started going like this?
And when he robbed him at the end, doing the classic Griffey and shit, going up against it, was great. He played a good heel.
Yeah, he did. Griffey was funny in that movie.
I always forget that they were in that movie. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's in this. That's another good one. This is another really, really good one. Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill and Little Giants. That's another great one.
Oh, that's great.
That was.
I was just quoting a movie. What was I quoting? That wasn't anything sports related.
What was the one with the girl with the girls' baseball team when Tom Hanks says there's no crying in baseball?
A League of Their Own.
Yeah. Tom Hanks says there's no crying in baseball.
I think there's going to be a series of League of Their Own, like on one of the streaming platforms I saw the other day. Really? It looked kind of interesting.
That movie was hilarious.
That movie was fantastic. That movie was absolutely fantastic.
Between Tom Hanks, Rosie O'Donnell, and Madonna, they were hilarious in that movie.
Can't forget about Gina Davis either.
Yeah.
Gina Davis kept him in his place.
Yeah. She could hit too.
One of my favorite scenes is when Tom Hanks gets down to finally gets down to the stadium for the first time, and they're all like trying to meet him and figure out what the lineup card is. He just walks right past them. Goes right in the bathroom. It takes like a 5-minute leak, and they're all just sitting there like snickering, like, "Oh my god!" It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And he just walks out like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Brian, could you go back to that comment that was asking about the Flyers D pairings? I can't scroll up for some reason in the comments.
Yeah, that's
I just want to see what platform he was writing on, and I'll just
Oh,
write
that's
back.
Johnny.
Yeah, there you go.
Johnny on
Okay,
YouTube.
Cool. Awesome. Cool.
For Love of the Game is another good one. I actually never saw Cinderella Man, Jake.
Oh, Cinderella Man. That's a great one. I didn't even. Oh, yeah. I see. I really I overrate that, so that's why I didn't think of it underrating. But yeah.
Ladybugs. I've never actually seen Ladybugs. At least I don't remember if I've ever seen it. But for the Love of the Game is another one that's another underrated one. I don't know if I classify that fully as a baseball movie. I think that's more of a love story. But I love it. It's one of my favorite Kevin Costner baseball movies. And I love Kelly Preston in it.
Yeah, as far those are all underrated, but they're all good. I had to throw a hockey movie in there though.
No, that's fine. It's a bunch of good hockey movies. Like, I mean, obviously, you have the Mighty Ducks is a really good one.
Slapshot was not underrated.
Slapshot, not at all. That was hands down to me the best hockey movie that I've ever seen in my life. Youngblood,
Mystery Alaska.
Mystery Alaska is another good one.
It's not underrated. Everybody knows about that movie. It's not underrated. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like that's more Slapshot. I don't think Youngblood is as overrated as people think. I feel like that's more underrated because when I talk to people out, they're like, "What movie? Like
Really?
You've never seen Youngblood with Rob Lowe?"
Yeah, that's what. No, it's underrated. Slapshot is
Right. That's what I'm saying.
underrated, so you can't say that that's overrated. That's underrated.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah, no, not that many people have seen Youngblood. Youngblood was really good.
I remember watching it for the first time. I'm like, this definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
No.
And it wasn't, but it was really good. I enjoyed that. I remember this. Yeah, Priz, I remember that movie now. I did see that.
What
Ladybugs.
Oh, Ladybug. Oh, yeah, with the Jonathan Brandis from Sidekicks.
And Rodney Dangerfield. Draft Day was I thoroughly enjoyed Draft Day every time I watched that.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, very good movie.
Anthony, stop it. Slapshot's not really bad. What happens if the Rangers get Malkin? I don't think that's going to happen.
How does he fit? He's not a center. Right?
Yeah. Besides, I think Malkin's gonna pull more money than people think he's gonna.
Malkin, I'm trying to think where Malkin would. He ends up in Carolina. That would be a really good move for Carolina to bring him in.
Truth be told,
And they have some room. I heard something before about him being linked to the Habs too. I heard him linked to the Habs as well.
Yeah, but why would he want to go there? They stink. I mean, does he really want to
Is it gonna pay him?
in Montreal?
Because they're going to pay him.
So
He's not leaving Pittsburgh because he wants to. He's leaving Pittsburgh because they're not going to pay him. He wants to get paid. He doesn't give a shit about winning anymore.
it's also good.
That's if you're talking about money. Yeah, if you're talking about money, he'll go anywhere then.
Yeah, he doesn't want to win. He doesn't care about winning. He wants a payday. That's the reason why he's pissed off about leaving Pittsburgh because they don't want to give him the money he wants.
What about
They gave it to Raquel and they gave it to Letang.
What about the Kings? They could use a veteran leadership. I mean, I know that they've got that one guy that's been there forever. What's his name?
Jordan Stahl.
No. The Kings, not the Canes.
Oh, I thought you said the Canes. My bad.
No, the Kings.
Oh, that's Anze Kopitar.
Anze Kopitar. Yeah, I know they got Kopitar, but he'd be a nice piece to have over there.
Career year, coming off a career year late in his career too.
Yeah, I think Malkin could be a good fit for the Kings. They got the money too.
Yeah, I know they do, and they also and he would be quite the hit in Hollywood, I think.
Wrestler, that's another good one.
I never saw that.
Really good one.
I never saw that. I think Hextall knows what he's doing. I think he's just everybody's just pissed off about him leaving.
Well, I'm glad to see him go. I'm glad he's not going to be on Pittsburgh anymore because I think Pittsburgh will not be as good a team now.
I think they'll be all right. I don't think they're any better or any worse than they were yesterday.
Well, I think a guy like Evgeni Malkin, I think anytime you have a guy like him on your team, if you losing him, I don't think that guy could be replaced so easily. I mean,
yeah, to an extent. I mean, you're obviously you're not going to get the productivity from Raquel that you're going to get from Malkin, but you can get 30 goals from.
But the dynamic between Crosby and Malkin, it just.
Yeah, and Crosby's not happy about it. He's voiced his displeasure with Pittsburgh about not bringing him back.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would be.
Yeah, no, and he's not. I mean, they came into the league together for the most part. They've been playing for that team forever. I don't blame him for being upset with him, but it is what it is. It's a business at the end of the day, too.
Yeah, 16 years I think they've been playing together. So,
what is it? Greater is a great movie. I've never heard of that, Benny. And no, I don't see him going to Pittsburgh.
I'm trying to think what Pittsburgh really needs.
They need a lot. They just need to get younger. I think that's their biggest issue right now.
Well, they're slow.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting there. Like I said, they still have to.
I mean, is Russ going to have a year like he did last year again? Don't you think that's asking a lot?
I mean, if he's on the line with Crosby consistently, I think that's not a lot to ask. But, I mean, if he winds up on the second or third line without him, I don't see Russ putting up those same numbers. I mean, they just – they're a team, I think, that needs a retool.
Raquel and who's the guy that scored all those goals? Jake
Gensel.
Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel and Raquel are going to be playing with Crosby.
Yeah.
I mean, Russ isn't going to be on that first line anymore.
No.
You put him on the second line, I don't see him being nearly the factor that he was last year. And he was a pretty major factor.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I don't think Pittsburgh got any better or any worse than they were yesterday.
Yeah, and they're going to get – is Evan Rodriguez going to play the way he did last year? There's no way that's going to happen.
He's a free agent. I don't know if he's going back or not.
Oh, he's gone now? Okay.
I mean, tomorrow's going to be a very interesting day.
Yes. I'll be checking in on my phone every 20 minutes probably to see if anything crazy happens. Waiting for the coronation of Patrick Kane to the New York Rangers.
Yeah, a lot should be going down tomorrow, boys. Anybody know what time the market opens?
I don't know. It's open. I think it's
midnight.
Is it midnight or is it 11 a.m. tomorrow morning?
I think it's 11 a.m. Anywhere between 10 and 12. I think it's in that area.
It should be a really fun day, boys. Absolutely, really fun
day. If you're around, NHL Network is the place to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have it on in the background for work for sure.
That's the station.
Let me tell the good people about our shootout sponsor, which is Dr. Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy. Check out our doc. He's our doc. Make him yours. 2 locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Visit him online, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. All right, boys. Ready to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
All right. For Brian Daly, Brad Ryer, Matt Tsutsuti, hopefully is now resting in his new house, enjoying some birthday candles. Once again, happy birthday, Maddie. Thank you for all. Absolutely. And thanks for all the commenters chiming in. You're the lifeblood of the show. You make us operate. We thank you so much. Join us again next week where we'll have to recap all the madness that goes down tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun, boys.
Absolutely. That's why they call it the free agent frenzy.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely. All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll check you next week. Peace.
Later.